here again when we count down your top 50 games of the year. And the best duke it out for the golden filter. Will an old friend ride the win to the top spot? Or will some fighters with soul edge out the competition? You're about to find out right now on Filter. Welcome to Filter, a hand-picked top 10 video game countdown is voted on by you, the viewer, at g4tv.com. 2003 was a great year for gamers. From role-playing games to first-person shooters and Grand Theft Auto clones, there was something for everyone. Let's kick things off with a look back at some highlights from the world of gaming in '03.
2003 was a really good year for gaming. There wasn't a big Grand Theft Auto type title this year, but there were a lot of really strong titles. So across the board, it was a really solid year.
This year, we've had tons of racing games like Need for Speed Underground, Our Racing Evolution, Project Gotham 2. That's one of the biggest trends that I've seen this year. It seems that racing games are kind of coming to life.
Sales on mature-rated games have been very high. The market is definitely growing up, and you're seeing a move away from the slew of mascot titles that we've seen in the past. 5 years ago, everything was Mario and cute little Sonic the Hedgehog. While these games are still popular nowadays, mature games are overtaking them.
Violence is in, and you need an excuse to shoot people, so let's give a really good story.
There are some big trends in 2003. All the consoles are getting online, except for the GameCube. A little behind the curve there, but Xbox Live is really strong.
The power of the headset, it's just awesome. You know, you play 16-player versus combat in Crimson Skies, and you talk to everybody on your headset.
The Game Boy Advance SP really rejuvenated the handheld market. Nintendo has owned that market, and the GBA SP just really cemented their place at the top.
The PlayStation 2 is far ahead. It's the most popular console on the planet, but Microsoft is really doing an amazing job catching up. I mean, the Xbox has been selling in droves thanks to online play. GameCube's still lagging in third, but the recent price drops have really given it a boost.
The coolest new peripheral is probably Sony's iToy.
iToy is a camera that plugs into the PlayStation 2 where you interact with the game via gestural movements.
It's the perfect, actually, game/peripheral. You have a house party and you want to have people who have never played games. You put on the iToy and they see themselves in front of the TV.
And there's no barrier to entry. I mean, some people just aren't dexterous with a controller, but this is something everyone can understand. Games like this, I think, bring back to the essence what's fun about games.
Yes, 2003 was a good year to be a gamer, but now it's time to sort out which ones for the best of the best. Envelope, please. Thank you. As you've just seen, there were plenty of top-notch titles in 2003, but we're only concerned with your top 50. Cracking the countdown is a formidable challenge, and so is making a good game based on a movie license. Somehow, Shiny Entertainment managed to do both, with Enter the Matrix at number 50.
Enter the Matrix was a gargantuan production with tons of footage from the movie, input and script from the Wachowski brothers.
The revolutionary game, the fact that it tied the movie elements together and came out in conjunction with the Matrix Reloaded, and the fact that some of the movie was told inside the game.
I cannot tell you what is going to happen.
If you're like a Matrix fan, it's pretty cool because like you basically get to do like a lot of nifty Matrix type moves in the old time.
The graphics was totally awesome. How they did those bullet scenes.
What made it a great game was the bullet time. That it improved on what Max Payne did. It was a great bullet time. Like you could just see the bullets just whizzing by you with the effects. That was pretty good.
I'm the Alpha with your Omega.
While Neo and the kids of the Matrix are trapped in a virtual reality, the rest of us willingly put ourselves into a virtual world of a different sort. Star Wars Galaxies and Empire Divided sucked you in at number 49. Those of you who prefer frantic action to online role-playing gave Time Crisis 3 the spot at number 48. Speaking of frantic, WarioWare Inc. redefines the word with its 3-second games and takes number 47.
WarioWare was probably the most novel game of 2003. It wasn't just one thing, it was like dozens and dozens of really simple mini-games. It was put together so well, and it just had a really big charm about it, and it was definitely the most unique title this year.
If it were up to me, WarioWare Inc. would be way higher on this list. That game is one of the most fun, addictive, brilliant, unique games I've played this year. I couldn't put it down. It's so much fun, so unique, got so much personality.
It's kind of like my game, easy in, easy out. And it's just like, you know, it's so mental, you know, it's just like, wow, and blowing your mind. And, you know, you can imagine just the designers thinking about this stuff in game design sessions. It's like, any idea is a good idea. Just throw it out there. You know, the picking nose one, that's just brilliant.
Wario may have a few mini-games that will challenge your mind, but Dante's World will challenge your reflexes. Shooting in at 46 is Devil May Cry 2. It's more sequel madness as Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution fights its way in at number 45. Master Chief makes his way to the PC with Halo at number 44. Homer Simpson meets Tommy Vercetti. The Simpsons Hit and Run pulls in at number 43. But trouncing all of them is a furry alien and his little robot friend. That's right, Ratchet and Clank Going Commando blasts into number 42.
Ratchet & Clank, it's probably the best platform game this year.
Ratchet & Clank is one of my favorites. It's a really fun hop and bop adventure that takes things to an entirely different level than prior games in the genre like Super Mario Sunshine did.
They've added lots of new moves, 30 new weapons, 20 new worlds, and it kind of takes the classic Mario gameplay but adds lots of guns and shooting and sniping and strafing.
How do you fit so many like weapons into one game, you know, and so balanced so perfectly, and you know, gameplay so solid, the world so solid, and the graphics are so nice, and overall just a really, really highly well-produced, highly executed game.
Dev team managed to pump up the visuals, pump up the style, make the game deeper and more interesting and still accessible.
Okay, Clank may be versatile, but can he do 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds? The tricked-out hot rods of Electronic Arts' Need for Speed Underground race in at number 41. Taking a cue from games like Gran Turismo, you can upgrade and modify your car with everything from nitrous injectors to pimpin' rims.
If you're talking about really high-impact, really slick-looking, fast racing games, it really doesn't get better than Need for Speed. It was just a gorgeous, gorgeous game, and it was just really beautiful, really fast, and had a good challenge there for hardcore gamers.
When I played that game, I was like, wow, you know, it's just, this is real speed in real 3D, and you feel it sitting on the couch. You can lean back as you're pressing the button.
Need for Speed Underground was one of the first games to really nail that underground racing, you know, Fast and Furious feel.
That's a great game. I just love that game. The effects in that game were beautiful. The blur, just the pavement, how the water just reflected everything off of it was beautiful. It was just beautiful.
It was one of those games that just came in and just from the first moment you saw it, you knew it was going to be cool.
So the question is, what color should your 300 horsepower 98 Dodge Neon be? Quicksilver or Imperial Jade? Coming up next, how far will a zombie-killing U.S. Army Ranger climb the charts? Will a dark cloud overtake the streets of L.A.? And what about the rest of this year's Filter winners? That's all coming up when Filter returns. Welcome back to Filter. I'm Diane Mizota, counting down the 50 best games of 2003. The rankings for Filter shows come directly from the responses you post on the G4 website. To make your vote count, log on to g4tv.com/filter and select the Filterator. Then choose a category, vote on a scale of 1 to 10, and we'll take care of the rest. While you're there, be sure to post your suggestions for topics and games you'd like to see covered in future episodes. Now, back to the countdown as we work our way toward this year's winner of the Golden Filter. Envelope, please. Thank you. Thanks. With bumpin' tunes, old school ballers, and real-world street courts, NBA Street Volume 2 takes it strong to the hole at number 40.
NBA Street 2 did everything that NBA Street 1 didn't do, and I was really, really impressed with it. Street, it improved on what the first one did. Better graphics, better gameplay, the addition of the double game breaker when you can pocket one of them and use it and do this incredible combo that can't be blocked. It was great.
I like it because how you can have like a team. When you can like hook up 4 controllers and plus have the internet adapter where you can even have more people. It is just totally awesome.
They found a way to take the real NBA feel and mix it with that, more personality and come up with something great that more people can like.
It's much more about kind of basketball lifestyle than it actually is about basketball, and I think that's actually very, very cool.
A lot of people that are just casual fans, or not even sports fans in general, get hooked on the game because it's just built so well and it's really addictive.
While basketball has its share of tough guys, they probably wouldn't want to tango with the characters in Guilty Gear X2. This distinctly Japanese 2D fighting game gets voted in at number 39.
Guilty Gear X2 really showed a lot of people that 2D fighting games still have a lot to contribute, and Sammy ate Capcom's lunch because they made them look like a bunch of fools. And now they're pairing up together. Capcom knows that they have to work with Sammy to really come together and be back at the forefront of the genre.
You don't see a lot of 2D fighting games anymore, and there were only a handful in 2003, and Guilty Gear was definitely the best of the bunch.
Personally, I like the art style and the really fast-paced action.
Guilty Gear may have its mix of strange and bizarre characters, but it doesn't get much weirder than Nazi zombies. Return to Castle Wolfenstein Operation Resurrection creeps into 38. Is there anything sexier than a chick who rides a dragon? Panzer Dragoon Orta flies into the 37 spot. At 36 comes the great crossover of 2D fighting giants known as Capcom vs. SNK2 EO. Getting a sense of deja vu? That's because some of these games have already made it on previous filter lists. Here's a refresher to bring you up to date on all the winners of the past year. Now that you're all caught up, let's get back to the task at hand. The classic Command & Conquer series got its latest sequel this year with Command & Conquer Generals. With a brand new 3D engine and an arsenal of nuclear weapons that would make North Korea jealous, this is one strategy game that more than deserves its spot at number 35.
want to blow something up.
Command & Conquer General, it's the best game ever made. It's real-time strategy game, hands down game of the year.
I like it how it's strategy-based. You know, strategy for that game means a lot.
It's not so much a first person, it's more of like an overview where you kind of play like as like a god type of character and kind of control all the armies and whatnot.
It's a little more fast-paced than the original Warcraft 3. There's like a lot of like the heavy weapons like nukes that take out like whole bases and stuff. I personally prefer more of the Blizzard Warcraft 3 games, but it's pretty fun if you want like a modern era military.
Get the expansion pack if you guys don't have it already. It's right up there. It's the best game ever.
Next we go from martial law to the long arm of the law with Nick King, a renegade cop and the lead character of True Crime Streets of LA. About time we had an Asian leading man. Nick comes in at number 34. While cops protect your freedom, the heroes in our next game wage war for it. Freedom Fighters puts you in the role of a plumber, naturally, who's fighting to rid an alternate New York of Soviet rule. You voted it number 33.
Freedom Fighters was a sort of a surprise. Just the premise of an alternate America where Russia was invading after a long Cold War was unique, and it's interesting to see people take on more serious and strange creative storylines like that.
Somebody in the United States, you know, becomes a hero and try to help take back over the country. It has his plumber because he has to do something about it, so he goes out and tries to make a difference.
It was a good game. It was kind of like a squad-based game. You would tell your teammates to go here. You have like a grenade person or a sniper, or you'd be like a gunman. You just go in there and you can make like little formations, go around the enemy, do little tactics. It was a great game.
We go from tearing down the Iron Curtain to a Dark Cloud. Level 5 cel-shaded role-playing game Dark Cloud 2 is number 32. It's more sequel shenanigans with the car-crashing, pile-up smashing, fast-paced racing of Burnout 2 Point of Impact from Acclaim. Fans of reckless driving gave it enough votes for it to race in at number 31. We've managed to put a good dent in our list, but there's still a ways to go before we cross the finish line. Next up, some elite Special Forces units throwdown, and we'll see if a dark hero with a grudge can hold his own against some Padawans. We'll also take a no-holds-barred look at some of the most disappointing games of the year when Filter returns. Filter. I'm Diane Mizota, and we're counting down the top 50 games of the year. Remember, only one game will get the golden filter, so let's get to it. From old school ballers to girls riding dragons, we've made it through 20 games so far, and we're still going strong. They're considered the most highly trained soldiers in the world, both online and offline. SOCOM 2 U.S. Navy SEALs gives you a realistic game where strategy and tactics are just as important as steady aim. The SEALs storm in at number 30.
SOCOM 2 really picked up where the first one left off. It improved a lot of things. It kept the same addictive online play that made the first one so popular.
I think that's really becoming like the Counter-Strike of the consoles. A lot of people are playing it. It broke the record for like most people on in 2 days.
SOCOM, that's a pretty badass game, you know. It's definitely one of those games that when you're done playing it, you really feel like you could invade a third world country and kill whoever you have to get the job done. It's a lot of fun.
The headset and what they're doing with that is really, really great. It's a natural progression of things, and we kind of look at it and say, oh yeah, you know, we knew that was coming. But it's still, you take a step back and look at this stuff, it's still fairly amazing.
It just improved everything the first one did, just kept it really tight, and it was just probably the best third-person action game on the PlayStation 2.
Chances are there wouldn't be a SOCOM game if it wasn't for Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six series. Raven Shield one-ups the SEALs and takes number 29. At number 28 comes Monolith's epic role-playing game, Xenosaga Episode 1. Next, we go from the high-tech future to the medieval past with Warcraft 3, The Frozen Throne, at number 27. Then it's off to that proverbial galaxy far, far away with Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy, which force jumps its way to number 26. At 25 is a game in which the Force isn't necessary to catch big air. It's SSX3.
SSX3 is by far the best snowboarding game this year. It just moves incredibly fast, and the gameplay is really cool. It has that cool SSX combination of racing and pulling off tricks.
I can't believe how much action they get on the screen at once without any slowdown ever.
SSX3 has you on one big mountain, and it kind of does feel like a real mountain because you can go off the beaten path.
They added like 3 new mountain areas. They have specific tracks like trick, freestyles and the races. Every map leads into every other map. The fact that the whole game is one giant mountain gives you a real sense of actual space.
The control feels very, very solid, and you are that person on that snowboard. But at the same time, you can do these crazy tricks and things like that.
You'll find yourself not putting that game down for 8 hours at a time. You just keep building and getting new tricks and opening new maps. It's so addictive.
SSX3 has received critical praise and appears to be keeping EA big at the top of the extreme sports heap. But sadly, not every game can be a winner. Sometimes things just don't work out the way you'd like them to. Here's a look at some of the biggest bummers of 2003. Yeah, you're not going to get one of these. Sorry.
Jak 2 was a little disappointing. I really liked the first one. Second one, some of the missions were a little too tedious.
The new Final Fantasy, it didn't live up to the standards.
The Xenosaga. Fell asleep one time playing it.
1080, I was really looking forward to that game. It made no forward advancement when compared to SSX3.
My biggest gaming disappointment of the year was the same disappointment I had in the movies, is The Matrix. I wasn't happy with the movies, wasn't happy with the game.
I think that the biggest disappointment for me this year was Mario Kart Double Dash.
It's not a horrible game. It's a big letdown. It wasn't that it was bad, just that it wasn't great.
The battle mode is really shallow and just not as fun.
It's still a fun game, but it loses out a little bit compared to its predecessor.
I was also disappointed in some of the other Nintendo titles, which is not something that usually happens. Nintendo's the one that comes with the big games, always. You can always count on Nintendo to deliver these great games, but this year they really kind of dropped the ball.
So some of us have had our hearts broken, but don't worry, we've got plenty more good games coming your way. Envelope, please. Envelope, please. Thank you. Thank you. Jak 2 is the eagerly awaited follow-up to the PS2 hit Jak and Daxter. This sequel takes on a darker, grittier tone as Jak embarks on a quest for revenge. It turns out our hero isn't a fan of being locked up and treated like a guinea pig for 2 years. Go figure. Jak 2 is number 24.
Jak 2 tried to do more of a Grand Theft Auto thing, tried to give more freedom in that world. They had the hub-like city.
This one incorporated a lot of kind of open-ended gameplay with a huge world, Dark Jak, a little bit more mature theme. There are different vehicles you could get into. Dark Jak, the fact that Jak talked was kind of a big deal.
Let's do it. I like how they mix kind of elements of, there's a little bit of MGS2 kind of stealth action, and there's, GTA kind of action.
Jak 2, that's just fun. How they made it kind of GTA-ish, kind of platformer, kind of like, all this stuff mixed into one. How they gave Jak a personality in this game was better. How he was kind of dark. The elements in that game were just great. Like little mini games they had when you had to race these little rocket thingies. It was really great.
Let's keep this conga line moving. Scaring things up at number 23 is the latest in Konami's premier survival horror series, Silent Hill 3. Next, we go from undead zombies and creepy crawlers to street fighters and superheroes with Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Looks like you just couldn't say no to pitting Ken against Wolverine as a dragon uppercuts its way to number 22. The punching and kicking continues with a different kind of superhero. Actually, it's the story of an average Joe turned mask and cape-wearing stud. Beautiful Joe comes in at number 21.
Beautiful Joe is incredible. It's just such a great game. It's got a great style to it. It controls like a dream. He has these different powers where you can speed up and slow down time. That affects everything from, there's a fan blade and you speed up time, the fan blade spins faster, which will raise the platform. It's a great playing game, like a really solid, fun, awesome game.
Beautiful Joe is definitely the most stylish game this year. It had a really cool cel-shaded 2D look. So it was a really awesome mix of old and new. It just is a beautiful fun that totally worked.
Games like this, I hope that they will continue to be made, because they just show a playful side of gaming. I don't think it's a personality that can really exist outside of our media.
Now that's my kind of superhero. With only 20 more games left on our list, the best is yet to come. Can Max Payne kick sand in the faces of some beach volleyball girls? And will Madden make it to the end zone, or will it have to punt? And you won't want to miss our first ever Filter Fashion recap. Not only that, but you'll get a peek at some of my less than perfect moments from the past year. Wait, no one told me about this. Where's my agent? Welcome back to Filter. I'm Diane Mizota. Let's get back to our countdown of the top 50 games of 2003 as we get closer to the golden filter. You'd think that people would be smart enough not to piss off a guy with a name like Payne, but apparently mobsters and hitmen just can't help themselves. Our favorite renegade cop made a huge comeback this year with both guns blazing as Max Payne 2, The Fall of Max Payne, comes in at number 20.
Max Payne 2 is great because of the mature, realistic, gritty world mixed with the unreality of the bullet time and the TV drama.
Really kind of gritty action game, very, very much like a film noir movie, inspired by, the classic Hollywood style.
One of the really interesting parts of it is just like the stylish ragdoll physics. Like you can shoot somebody or bomb somebody, they'll flail about.
It's fun, and it's where games are headed, I think, and in a good way. Pushes the boundaries a little bit.
The game really offered a pretty singular thrill, which was the shooting people. Managed to do it really well, really stylishly, and really never got tiring, which was pretty impressive.
Really, who needs action movies when you've got Max Payne? If you prefer fighting vampires to tussling with gangsters, Castlevania Aria of Sorrow is the game for you. It comes in at number 19. You won't find vampires in the darkness of Midnight Club 2, but you'll get plenty of fast cars and urban tracks. Rockstar's Racer is number 18. From race cars to golf carts, it's Mario Golf Toadstool Tour, driving in at number 17. Now, let's speed things back up with one of the fastest racing games ever to hit a home console, F-Zero GX.
F-Zero GX, it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. The colors radiate from everything. Everything is colorful, pulsing, moving at all times. Nintendo really is doing very, very well with their flagship titles and making them very pretty.
It took a long time for Nintendo to come up with another F-Zero game, and this one was definitely worth the wait. It moves incredibly fast as a racing game of that style should.
The level of difficulty in that was insane. You could be in first, you could hit the wall or accidentally flip upside down on the top of the track, and someone can just come by and zoom past you.
It's probably too hard for me, but a lot of gamers out there will love the challenge.
Just to get that little extra boost and just zoom past them, see the look of defeat on their faces is great.
If F-Zero is a bit too out there for you, perhaps a more down-to-earth sport like football is what you're looking for. If that's the case, no one does it better than EA Sports. Madden NFL 2004 comes in at number 15. Sometimes football players fumble and sometimes quarterbacks throw interceptions. The point is, nobody's perfect. So let's take a break from our countdown for our first ever Filter Fashion Recap, and also look at some of my best moments in 2003.
But I'm personally a fan of a bigger, oh hell, sorry.
Who writes this? Matt Hoffman's second serving of BMX finishes the countdown at number...
Take me in the head!
That sucked. Balls.
Take me in the head! 3 times! 3 times!
4. Who writes this crap? Cook up a mad spell. Cook up a mad spell. Who writes this?
Have you ever lost a loved one to gaming? We thought we'd let a few people. Here are some stories from those who have lost loved ones. Video games. So close! Who writes this? I don't like to share my camera time.
The best action sports game of all time.
And it slices people open. A lethal sword. I just can't realize this sword. Who takes this schlock? How dumb. Her boobs jiggle. I smell an Emmy. If you liked those threads, then you'll love the duds that the hero of Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time is sporting. But this prince is more than just a snappy dresser. He can also handle a sword. The return of the Prince of Persia series takes the throne at number 14.
Prince of Persia is the return to a classic gaming franchise.
Jordan Mechner created the Prince of Persia series back in like the Apple II series. I mean, this game was basically Lara Croft before the Tomb Raider was around.
Well, one thing's for sure, you know, Prince of Persia is definitely a beautiful game.
It's a blend of action, puzzle, and platform gameplay.
Full of, you know, beautiful visuals, incredible acrobatics, really cool sort of bullet time slow motion effects.
It's like those acrobatic puzzles where you have to swing from this ledge, jump over here, double jump here, run across the wall. It's just, in the combat, it's just so stellar.
The crux this time is you control time itself, so you'll be fighting bad guys, and you can, if you mess up in your attack, you can rewind the battle and try it a different way.
Overall, one of the most surprising games of the year.
Did you see the abs on that kid? I wouldn't wear a shirt either if I was built like that. And I was a guy. So that one was for the ladies, but this next game is definitely for the fellas. Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball features the girls of the DOA fighting series and spikes its way to Lucky 13. Another game from the mind of DOA Extreme creator Tomonobu Itagaki is Ninja Gaiden. This revival of the classic NES game is number 12. He may not be a ninja, but then again, can a ninja pull off a Sailfish McTwist combo? Tony Hawk has been defying gravity with his moves and breaking sales records with his games for years. So it's no surprise that Tony Hawk Underground got your vote for number 11.
Tony Hawk's Underground is the best action sports game, and it's the latest in the line of the best action sports series out there.
I like it because how Tony Hawk put his attitude in the game. It's more action in the game, a lot better tricks, you know, a lot better stunts.
This time you create your own amateur skater and try to work your way up on the streets.
You start off in New Jersey, and you impress the locals and try to get sponsored by your local skate shop. And then from there, you move on and you travel around to other levels all over the world, and that's all part of you becoming a pro.
And one of the really cool features with it is that you can send in a picture of your face, and Neversoft will actually put it onto a character in the game and send it right back to you.
In Tony Hawk's Underground, you can get off your board at any time. When you're off your skateboard, you know, that frees you up to climb on things. You can climb up, you know, buildings and up ladders. It's a nice way to just cruise around the level.
With only 10 more games to go, we're that much closer to the golden filter. Stick around to find out who comes in at number 1. Will a band of knights take the top spot, or will a small adventurer be the victor? We'll also find out what some of your New Year's resolutions are for 2004, and maybe even make a few resolutions of our own. Stay tuned for more Filter. Welcome back to Filter. I'm Diane Mizota, and we're counting down the 50 best games of 2003. We've finally made it to the top 10. While the last 40 games we've covered are well worth your precious gaming time, the remaining titles on our list should be nothing less than gaming gold. And gold is exactly what you get when you cross one of the greatest RPG developers with the one and only Star Wars franchise. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic uses the Jedi mind trick to come in at number 10.
By far, KOTOR is my favorite Xbox game of the year.
It is a huge, deep RPG that at the same time gives you an incredible amount of freedom.
A lot of Star Wars games, if you play dark side, it doesn't really work. Like at some point you're kind of forced to be good, but here you can actually be completely evil, and you know there's consequences, but you can get to the end of the game being evil, which is, you know, a lot of Star Wars fans like that.
It's just a damn good story. On top of like it being a Star Wars game, that it's just, there's actually moments in the story where you, like, your mind is blown and you actually feel for the characters, and you know that goes beyond games. It's good storytelling.
It's incredible. It's actually the way they present these moral dilemmas to you throughout the game is very impressive, and it really raises that game to the art, level of art.
That type of depth while retaining low barrier to entry where it's easy to just start playing the game and, you know, not get bogged down in just semantics is one, you know, is the direction our industry should go.
Next, we go from lightsabers and force powers to swords and sorcery. The Lord of the Rings Return of the King rides in at number 9. Continuing the fight against evil is Jade, the leading lady in Ubisoft's Beyond Good and Evil. This French game from the creator of the Rayman series is number 8. We go from fighting the good fight to waging war in Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. Originally a PlayStation title, this strategy/role-playing game is now on the Game Boy Advance and leads the charge at number 7. Coming in at number 6 is Castlevania Lament of Innocence for the PlayStation 2. This latest sequel in the series reveals the history of the vampire-hunting Belmont family and takes the series back into the 3D realm. It's more swashbuckling at number 5, only this time with a slightly shorter and cuter hero. It's The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past on the Game Boy Advance. Nintendo gets another game in the top 10 with Mario Kart Double Dash for the Nintendo GameCube. It mushroom boosts its way to number 4.
Mario Kart Double Dash is so much fun.
Mario Kart Double Dash really did what Nintendo's best at doing, and they've shown they've done all throughout GameCube, is polishing one of their formulas until it shines.
It's a sequel to the game that spawned, an entire genre that's really pretty well overstuffed with Me Too's.
The kart racing genre has never been better than when Mario is behind the wheel, and this is the best of the 3 Mario Kart games. Gorgeous visually. It adds a lot to the multiplayer to have 2 people controlling the karts at once.
Mario Kart Double Dash is a really awesome multiplayer game that, lots of people can play either on a single console or by LAN play.
I can only shake my head at Mario Kart. It's a fun game, but it's not great, and I think that it made your list because a lot of people are voting it in based on the Mario Kart brand. That's really too bad because this game is not that awesome. 4th best game of the year? I don't think so.
Sure, Princess Peach may be able to power slide with the best of them, but can she sing and dance? Well, here's a trio of heroines who can save the world and cut a single while they're doing it. Yuna and the lovely ladies of Final Fantasy X-2 dance their way to number 3. Only 2 games left, but before we head into our Filter Face-Off, let's take a second to think about what you want to do for your New Year's resolution.
My New Year's resolution for 2004 is to play more online, because that's the future, that's where it's all going.
I'm trying to learn how to conquer this Medal of Honor game, but I'm not really good at coordination skills.
Try to beat the games that I buy, because I kind of didn't beat Castlevania.
Really, I just want to be able to sit down and play and beat games more. I just don't have the time. Over the holiday, I've vowed to kind of sit down and play through games and beat them and feel good about myself for beating them.
definitely to branch out. You know, as a gaming editor, I'm exposed to just about everything that comes out. We all have our personal tastes, our likes and dislikes. I'm always trying to strive to play more games and more genres that I normally wouldn't touch.
I'm trying to cut back, definitely. Last year in college, so I think it's about time to stop. Get that one last game in.
You know, if I were to be completely honest, I would say to play a little less.
You know, I just can't wait for more games to come out, and I just want to play as many as I can.
One of my big resolutions is to get back in touch with console games. I lost touch with them after the Super Nintendo days, and it seems like people are really starting to make more than just a generic platformer. People are coming out with really intuitive new ideas, and it's a good time for games.
My New Year's resolution is to, I think, just overall get better at games. I'm getting my ass beat by everyone. You know, I play a lot of sports games. Madden, I used to be great at that game. Now I'm terrible. So I'm left playing games like Tiger Woods golf, like by myself, you know?
As for my own New Year's resolution, I promise to never, ever flub a line again. The last thing I need is another clip of outtakes. But enough about me, it's time for a filter face-off. In one corner, we have Shigeru Miyamoto's latest hit, The Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker. Link is back in cartoon form, and he's looking better than ever. In the other corner is Namco's 3D fighting king, Soul Calibur 2. No longer limited to just one system, this fighter features exclusive characters for each console, from Spawn for the Xbox to Tekken's Heihachi on the PlayStation 2. It's the showdown of the year with these two gaming giants, but only one will take home the golden filter.
Legend of Zelda Wind Waker was a lot of fun, very similar in ways to the N64 version. It's a fun game.
It's just so beautifully polished and really well put together. It's really just the perfect evolution of that series.
Wind Waker, I think, would probably win that face-off just because there's a lot more depth to it. It's an unfair advantage, really, when you have an adventure game squared off against a fighting game, because unless that fighting game is really, truly, intensely deep, it does lose a lot of playability. It's a tough one, because both of those games are really pretty.
I think everyone that's been playing games for a while is a Nintendo fan at heart, and, you know, my heart's there, too. I gotta go with Zelda.
It really is it's the literature of fighting games. You know, the controls are so tight. You know, it's almost like choreographed dancing when you're playing right. You know, it's beautiful.
Not only is it deep and beautiful, it's easy to get into, but as you become a better player, the game sort of nurtures your skills.
In the filter face-off, I would have to go with Soul Calibur 2 because it didn't leave my Xbox for months. You can just keep playing, and you keep learning more. The more you play, the better you get. The more you want to play, the better you get, the more fun it is. It's wonderful.
The depth of play is amazing. You can pick up one character and play exclusively as that character for years. It is, without question, the best fighting game ever put together.
So, who came away with enough votes to be Filter's top game of 2003? Envelope, please. Thank you. The polls are closed, the votes are counted, and the golden filter goes to Soul Calibur 2. Clap it up, that's right, clap it up. Soul Calibur 2 could not be here to accept the award, so G4 will accept it on their behalf. Don't feel too bad for Link, though, since he does make an appearance in the GameCube version of Soul Calibur 2. He was going to be a winner either way. That wraps it up for Filter's top 50 games of the year. Remember, the opinions expressed on this show are yours, not mine. So make your vote count on future episodes by logging on to the Filter show page at g4tv.com/filter. I'm Diane Mizota, and we'll see you next year here on Filter. Somehow shiny. Who writes this? That'd be Lee. That'd be Lee quality one. Nice. That's I mean, stop it. Race in at number 40. Nice. Well, there's nothing that says take envelope. I read what's up there and I do it. Coming in at number 6 is Castlevania. Touch my hair. Nice. Where's my mochaccino? 4, 3.
You best not be contemplating any evil deeds or some super dude from one of your favorite comic book games might break his foot off in your butt. Oh yeah, it's up next on Filter. Filter, a great tasting, less filling weekly survey of the best in games, gadgets, movies, and music. I'm Diane Mizoda, and this week we celebrate the 36th annual Comic-Con International with a survey of your favorite comic book games. So zip up that crime-fighting elastic tummy trimmer and join us as we kick off our countdown. Excelsior! Oh no, please tell me it's not Superman 64. Actually, it's your list of the top 10 web-slinging, shield-throwing, good deed-doing comic book games.
I think what makes a good comic book game is the ability to free roam in the environments.
You have to have good gameplay, first and foremost, above everything else.
I think it would be nice if they would use one of the comic book storylines for once instead of merging their own.
These moments are coming to life, Claude.
That's impossible. That other Superman game they had for N64, that was a tanker.
You don't need tights to enjoy these geek-out games, but you don't get to kiss Kirsten Dunst either. At number 10 is the classic Spider-Man for the Super NES. Finally! Props to the old school.
Spider-Man was one of the first games for comic books that wasn't god-awful.
You know who else is a big Spider-Man fan? Freddie Prinze Jr. That's some cool company you run with. Back to Double Dragon, baby! Your pick for number 9 is the side-scrolling beat-em-up arcade classic Captain America and the Avengers.
You're on this big screen, and you had four joysticks with the 4 characters. It was just a lot of fun. And sure, the graphics were very cartoony, but that's what people were used to.
Captain America and I have so much in common. I'm a genetically modified superhost. Spidey's back with his old buddy Venom because Carnage is on the loose. Your number 8 pick is Spider-Man and Venom Maximum Carnage. Hope you kept your diapers on.
It was kind of one of those things where people were able to control Spider-Man and really feel like they were a part of the comic.
It's a Spidey-heavy countdown this week. All bow to the power of Freddie Prinze Jr. I'm so glad it was pure-hearted Peter Parker who got bitten by that radioactive spider and not, say, Saddam Hussein or Kim Jong-il. Megalomaniacal plots for world domination aside, I just do not want to see either one of those clowns in a unitard. But enough politics. There's still some stuff you haven't bought yet. Here's what's new in stores and on screen this week. Dude, why are they doing this to me? The first Bad News Bears was such a classic movie. So if you're up for $9 of disappointment, then check out the Bad News Bears remake starring Billy Bob Thornton in theaters Friday.
I know it stings a little bit, but that's worth it. Okay, here it comes. It's all right, kid. You had a helmet on. Imagine if you didn't.
Yo, let's some up! Okay, I'm really not that mad, but don't push me because I might have to blast a fool. The Anger Management Tour featuring Eminem and 50 Cent busts a cap in the following cities this week. July 28th at Smirnoff Music Center in Dallas, Texas, and July 29th at the Verizon Wireless Amphitheater in Selma, Texas. What happens when you give a kid with ADD too much Jolt Cola? He grows up to be professional stand-up comic Claude Stewart. Claude's brand new DVD, Claude Gone Wild, is out this week. Check out ClaudeStewart.com for ordering information and upcoming club dates.
I drive a crappy car. Right? The only thing worse about getting carjacked is having to explain to your jacker how to operate your piece of shit. Get out of the car! All right, dude, but can you come around? Because this door doesn't open.
Opening this week in theaters is the sci-fi fighter plane thriller Stealth, starring Jamie Foxx and Jessica Biel. After watching the previews, I predict this movie will be so stealthy, you won't see it when it goes straight to video.
I'm pushing out.
Would you like to win a crate of cool new DVDs? Even better, would you like to deface a picture of Filter's tech reporter John Walsh? We would. Hello. Now you can kill two birds with one stone. We're looking for the best hip-hop Photoshop job. Visit g4tv.com/filter for details and rules, but do it some other time. We've got turtles who think they're people and a guy who thinks he's a bat when Filter returns after this. Spider-Man and Captain America scored big for the mighty Marvel multiverse early in our countdown, but cowabunga! Here comes a quartet of pizza-chomping, karate-kicking heroes on the half-shell to represent for the indie crowd. Cowabunga, dude! It's time to throw back some pizza and hang out with our number 7 finishers, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The Fab Four are here to throw some half-shelled heroism into the arcade.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was definitely one of the better comic book games that I recall. The 3/4 view was a lot like Double Dragon and the kid April, and you gotta go rescue her, and and of course Shredder, Foot Clan, really cool.
Rats! The Foot Clan is at it again, and Dr. Scholl isn't going to be any help. This is a job for some turtles! Remember when your parents would ground you for throwing rocks over the fence at your neighbor, Mr. Wilson? Well, that's nothing compared to what our number 6 pick, the Punisher, would do to you.
Pretty fun game, actually. Very bloody, over the top. What was kind of cool was it had this mini games to it where you can interrogate bad guys, and the whole object was like to scare them into telling you stuff, and then you scare them by inflicting all this pain and suffering.
With so many sadistic ways to off people, he'll make you think twice before you tell a fib or swear at the dinner table.
Wondered if you'd have the guts to show up again.
Your guts will be showing up all over this room, Castle.
Batman's one of those lucky guys who never had an awkward phase where he had bad acne and couldn't get a date, like me. No! See for yourself in Batman Begins. It's at number 5.
Batman Begins is obviously a great concept for a game. I mean, the movie was brilliant. I loved the movie. Action-packed, cool Batmobile, cool Batman, great Bruce Wayne.
So what do you think? Does it come in black?
So the game is definitely something that will translate well to fans.
No, seriously, where does he get those wonderful toys? Well, pinch me if Batman Begins isn't just too good to be true. Now I can actually be Christian Bale. He was a non-playable character in Newsies for Xbox, and frankly, I think that's why that game sold so poorly. Bless you, Electronic Arts. Now, I wonder which brand of smartphone the Caped Crusader would have on his utility belt. You can debate that all you like on the forums at g4tv.com. But I'd rather hear from Andrew Hahn of G4 Labs in this week's Tech Toss-Up.
So you love your PDA, but you also love your cell phone. What you really need is a hybrid. We have two that are really great we want to show you. This is the Siemens SX66. Now, what's great about this is it has a nice big screen and a little QWERTY keyboard down here that's a membrane style. This phone also has a ton of wireless features. There's Bluetooth, there's Wi-Fi, and it's a quad-band phone, so you can travel pretty much anywhere in the world. But the big problem here is that it's so huge. It's excruciatingly large, and there's no camera. Now, the SX66 without service will run you about $500. This is the Trio 650, and it's super popular. It's got the best integration of form and function that I've ever seen in a PDA phone. There's basically one-handed functionality here, and you really don't need the stylus at all. It's got a great keyboard, it's got Bluetooth integrated, and there's a really solid camera on the. But the problem here is that the Palm OS is just really old school. On the other hand, it's really easy to use, and there's an amazing array of software out there if you want to add to it. Now, the Trio 650 without service is also about $500. After using these guys for about 2 weeks, I love them both, but even though it's about a year old, the Trio 650 is still the gold standard.
Thank heaven the Trio was the winner. I could never bring myself to ask for that other name brand by name. It's just not ladylike. And speaking of awkward segues, here's a list of the top-selling Xbox titles this week at EB Games. Chiropractor. Burnout 3 crashes into our 10th spot this week. I've got a bat if you've got some balls. MVP Baseball 2005 swings into 9th. Connect the Force, Luke. Lego Star Wars ignites number 8. Hello, World War II ended like 60 years ago. Medal of Honor European Assault declares war on number 7. Drink up your oil. Juiced splashes number 6. Where exactly do you get a PhD in Doom? Fantastic Four stretches number 5. We don't want to meet your leader. Destroy All Humans zaps number 4. I'll take some hot coffee with my thug sandwich. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas runs over number 3. Aw, the squirrel talks naughty. Conquer Live and Reloaded swears up number 2. X marks the noob. Halo 2 multiplayer map pack owns the top spot this week. Welcome back to Filter's countdown of your favorite comic book games. Now, I don't mean to brag, but I happen to have some mutant superpowers myself. For instance, I can accessorize like nobody's business. It kind of makes you wonder why the X-Men haven't called me yet. But bad judgment aside, they're your number 4 pick this week. Sure, when you were in school, people called you a mutant and you went home and cried. But cheer up! Maybe you can go to a special school and have lots of friends like the mutants in number 4's X-Men.
X-Men Arcade was pretty cool because you had a lot of characters. The cast of characters was pretty deep. You had Cyclops, you had Wolverine, you had Storm, I think you had Gambit and Nightcrawler. It was a good lineup, and it was pretty deep, and it took a lot of quarters.
Who would have thought that such a great game would come from such an obscure franchise that almost nobody has ever heard of? Throughout history, there have been many influential showdowns. Brown versus the Board of Education, Roe versus Wade, Paris versus Nicole, and most importantly, Marvel versus Capcom. It's at number 3.
Marvel vs. Capcom is probably one of the most brilliant bringings together of entities in comic book universes. I still play that game. I love it. It's awesome. Who doesn't want to fight? Like Cammy versus Wolverine?
With so many great matchups to make in Marvel vs. Capcom, it's way better than Joe versus the Volcano. Marvel vs. Capcom is fun, but for my money, nothing beats classic Illustrated versus Nintendo. You haven't lived until you've played Mario against Miss Havisham from Great Expectations. And elsewhere in the funny pages, tech reporter John Walsh hit this year's Comic-Con International and showed off some home improvement gadgets to the fanboys.
I'm here at Comic-Con in San Diego, California, and the crowds are a little hairy at times, so fortunately, I brought some protection. This week's geek-tested, nerd-approved gadget package includes the Straight Line Laser Level 120, which throws a virtual chalk line over any surface and even around corners. And the Straight Line Electronic Rolling Tape, because standard tape measures are so 20th century.
And have we had any pixie dust this morning?
Yes.
Naked Fat Rave is just a spot where really great artists come together and promote their work.
Interestingly, there's usually a Naked Fat Rave at my place every night. It's it's kind of it's a one-man rave.
Guess what it is?
It's
It's a leveler with a ruler attached to it.
It looks like a level.
If you're hanging pictures in the Fortress of Solitude and you want to make sure they're level, instead of snapping a chalk line out across your little home improvement projects, you can just project a laser.
Right.
So you can mark off so that all the pictures are perfectly even.
Perfect.
You could like do some carpentry in a club at night and they're like, ooh, ooh. Like if you're drunk and you're flying home from a little like ferry rave or something. Right in the eye, thanks.
I found him! I found him! You're coming with me, pal.
What powers in addition to Superman's own do you have?
Telekinesis, Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense?
Yes.
Good, good.
And the power to control minds.
Really?
Yes.
Hey, what superhero do you think I look like?
Superman?
Wow. Nice.
Or the Hulk?
This guy reminds you of Ben Grimm.
Open up those eyes real wide. Stick out that tongue. Yeah, that's a toad, all right. Yeah, that's definitely toad.
I do have yours. Hey, this guy's got yours. Right on, man.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, do you think, would that get me into school?
No.
This is a straight line. Digitally record in sequential order the surfaces that you've measured. See, what you do is you roll it along a flat surface.
I don't need this. I jumped through time.
You jumped through time? Wow. What's the latest home improvement project you tackled at the Fortress of Solitude?
Plumbing.
Plumbing?
Oh, yes.
My roots grew out of my head. I'm back. Let's ready to do this, man.
Yeah.
Woo, what's happening, boys?
You know, I've been collecting these Funko bobbleheads for years. They're really fun. What?
I mean, no offense, but your head is so, well, how do I say that? I mean, you would make a great bobblehead. Your head is perfect for a bobblehead.
Thanks.
Yes, I still do.
And that's all from Comic-Con 2005 here in San Diego, California. Hog sandwich, I'm the meat! Today I am a man.
Hunk sandwich, you got that from me. Okay, well, we're going off the rails on a filter train with more comic book games after this, but first, hey, what's that crap you're listening to? This week, we're tapping into iTunes' top 5 electronic downloads. The number 5 spot is Bangin' with Bang Gang's I Like to Move It. And if we only had a way to figure out what love is, we do, it's number 4. Imogen Heap's Playing Games Again, Hide and Seek is number 3. It's no surprise that Paul Oakenfold's Starry Eyes landed 2nd. And the French robot duo are at it again. Daft Punk's Technologic is number 1 this week.
Do you take it to the rack or the hole?
You know what? I go to both of them. I believe you can go to the rack, and I believe you can go to the hole. The main thing is finishing. Once you get to the rack or the hole, you must be able to finish, and that's what's extremely important, is to finish.
For more life lessons, check out Coach Carter on DVD this week. Oh, what a long, strange countdown it's been. We've laughed, we've cried, we've made some memories along the way. We sure have shared some times, haven't we? Yes, indeed. Proving that slinging webs is much better than slanging yayo, Spider-Man for the Super Nintendo comes in at 10th. Captain America and the Avengers refuse to drive a hybrid car to the 9th spot. It just wouldn't suit them. Supplying the largest possible amount of carnage that we allow on this countdown is Spider-Man and Venom Maximum Carnage. It's at 8th. 4 anthropomorphic reptiles with artsy names and a giant rat made it to 7th place with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Who knew? At number 6, the Punisher doles out an even harsher punishment than the nuns at your Catholic boys' school. And this week, Batman begins to move towards the top of our countdown, but only makes it to 5th place. You can X the number 4 spot off the countdown. It's taken by the X-Men. And unlike Tyson vs. Holyfield, the ever-popular Marvel vs. Capcom won't leave you with an ear missing. It's in 3rd. In this week's Filter Face-Off, the natural-born freaks of Professor X's Elite Academy take on an irradiated arachnid from Queens. You won't need your spidey senses to know that it's time for another Filter Face-Off, this time between a legendary spider and a League of Extraordinary X-Men. This week, Peter Parker picked a pack of pretty pixels in the sequel to the first Spider-Man game based on the new movies. It's time to take your Dramamine.
Spider-Man 2 was great. The whole swinging motion was just flawless. I mean, they totally captured the way Spider-Man swings through the city. And I would find myself just swinging around and just, checking out the views.
Legend has it that X-Men Legends is one heck of a third-person 3D action RPG. What's more, the bulk of the X-Men are on hand to take care of the baddies in this game, which should give Professor Xavier plenty of time for his hair plug appointments.
But X-Men Legends, it was such a deep game because it was a strategy game, but it was like an RPG, it was an action game, it was so visual, and like you had special powers, and massive explosions, and it was just wicked, it was just badass.
So, what was your vote? One amazing man or a whole group of uncanny ones? Look out! Here comes the Spider-Man!
It was so well done. I mean, they really raised the bar on comic book games. Artistically, the game was, graphically, it was beautiful.
There just isn't a can of Raid big enough to stop this spider. Spider-Man 2 proves its worth amongst all the other comic book franchise cash-ins. I hope you enjoyed our look at your favorite comic book video games. Until next time, I'm Diane Mizota, reminding you that with great power comes great responsibility. And one hell of a utility bill.
Publius Licinius Crassus was pretty good, and of course Pompey Magnus, and then there was Marcus Servilius, although he... Huh? Oh, consoles! Well, that's very different. Stay tuned as Filter counts down your top 10 favorite game consoles. Filter, your once weekly walk through a wonderland of the weird, the wild, and alliteration that just doesn't quite pan out. I'm Diane Mizota, sworn to protect the secrets of the sacred filterator at G4TV.com, and tonight we salute the greatest game consoles of all time. From palm-sized portables to butt-widening tabletop models, these are the machines for the games people play. Admit it, fanboy, you've spent innumerable hours charting out the points and counterpoints for your favorite home console. So whether you cling to your fledgling 32X or kiss the big N's hiney, everyone has their beloved joy maker. That's why this week we're counting down the best console ever. Rounding out the list is your number 10 pick, the Sega Genesis. Before the Xbox and PS2 duked it out for console supremacy, Sega enlisted the help of a speedy blue hedgehog to bring the 16-bit fight to a certain mushroom-eating plumber.
The Genesis had a lot of games on there that the Super Nintendo just didn't have that were really good games. You had your Altered Beast, you had your Golden Axe, and it was the first time that we had ever seen those on a home console where they were pretty much arcade perfect.
Michael! Sega may have peaked with the Genesis, but at least Sonic proves there is life after console. Your number 9 pick, the Game Boy, revolutionized the way we play games on the go, on the road, and, on the toilet. Not that a respectable TV host like myself would ever do such a vulgar thing. Honestly.
The cool thing about the Game Boy is that if you were such a big stoner that you couldn't get your Tetris fix by playing it on your TV, is that you could actually take your Tetris fix and take it with you with the Game Boy. So you'd see a lot of dudes just really, really spaced out, sitting on for hours and hours and hours from their Game Boy.
With a plethora of amazing titles on this portable wonderkind, you could literally spend an eternity on the crapper. Again, let me stress, not that I would know this. Number 8's PlayStation 1 ditched the dusty cartridge for the high-tech compact disc, expanding the potential of games with flashy full-motion videos and CD-quality sound. But then again, it also brought about a feature that isn't so highly regarded, load times. I said load.
I think the reason that the PlayStation, and thus the PlayStation 2, has been just so wildly successful is that Sony was smart in signing up a lot of top-notch games to be exclusive. If you wanted to play a lot of the Resident Evil games, or the Tomb Raider games, Final Fantasy, Wipeout, all kinds of games like that, you had to have a PlayStation.
Looking back at the PS1's catalog is a who's who in gaming. Like, remember when Solid Snake snapped his first neck? Why, it seems like it was just yesterday. back to Filter's delicately sautéed salute to your favorite video game consoles. Now, think of a number between 1 and 10. Put it back in the deck. If you said GBA SP, you're right! That's number 7 in our console countdown. 14 years ago, if I told you one day you'll achieve the joys of The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past anywhere you'd like, even in the comforts of a porta-potty, you'd send me to the nearest mental institution. But thanks to the Game Boy Advance, I'm not hanging with the loonies. The souped-up iteration Game Boy Advance SP is your number 7 choice.
The Game Boy SP, it's backlit, it's rechargeable. I mean, it's everything that Nintendo fans wanted from the Game Boy that they weren't able to give to them at the time because we didn't have the technology.
Sure, the Dreamcast was Sega's last hurrah in the console arena, but it still left beautiful memories in the hearts of many gamers. With games like Soul Calibur, Shenmue, and Skies of Arcadia, nostalgia alone make it your number 6 choice.
I think the Sega Dreamcast was, in a way, too far ahead of its time. It had a very rudimentary online service you could use. It had a really nice controller that had a view screen, so if you were playing a football game against somebody, you could do your plays on that little view screen so they couldn't see them.
Let me tell you, if I had my way, the Dreamcast would still be around and ruling the world. Xbox, Xbox, Xbox. First, you're really ugly. Second, you're the size of John Walsh. Third, your controllers barely fit in my cute little hands. But I guess you do have Halo, making it your number 5 choice.
First came out, graphics were just so ill, it wasn't even funny. It's like the best graphics. That combined with the hard drive was just a bonus. That way I didn't have to keep loading and unloading like I did on my PlayStation. And it was just instantaneous. It loaded up, the graphics were great, and I got to play Halo.
Wow, just the sound of that makes me want to throw a sticky on an Elite, fire a couple of rounds with the Jackals, and stick an energy sword up the stupid prophet's butt.
Best console of all time, I'd have to say, would be PlayStation 1. Xbox is one of the greatest systems ever made. Look at it, and it's like, sure, it's heavy, and it's ugly, and, the color's kind of weird, but other than that, it's a perfect system. It's capable, it has a lot of capability, almost like a small computer, if you could think about it. PlayStation 2, because it's the easiest to handle. The directions are right there when you turn it on, and everything comes up. It's real easy. Who plays the GameCube, honestly? Come on.
Back for more Filter, are ya? Well, good, because we haven't finished counting down your favorite video game consoles. It seems that sentimental favorites dominate your top 10 so far. I never saw this side of you before, but I like it. Do I really need to explain your number 4 pick, the PlayStation 2? It's only the best-selling system home console responsible for more amazing games than years in your life. But in case you're gaming illiterate, I'll clue you in on a little rare industry fact. It's the successor to PlayStation 1.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's out of all the home gaming systems that are out right now, it sold the most. And I remember the big PlayStation 2 Christmas scare where everybody wanted one because they were so popular and they were so cool and they were sold out everywhere and nobody could get one.
The PlayStation 2 is by far the best PlayStation system ever. Well, at least until PlayStation 3 comes out. You know what's scary? Without the NES, I wouldn't have a job. And, well, you'd probably have a girlfriend. But I think we can both agree we're thankful Nintendo's first game console made your number 3 pick.
The Nintendo Entertainment System is significant because it was sort of the first system to come out in a time when video games were sort of out of vogue. But, it definitely found an audience of people who, even now, are still dedicated to Nintendo.
With all its great accomplishments, Nintendo likes to forget the NES was also responsible for thousands of asthmatics left breathless trying to get their games to work. The console countdown's getting close. Can you stand the excitement? Okay, I know this doesn't really matter, but humor me, will you? Stay tuned for our countdown conclusion right after this week's top music downloads from Dentine Ice. This week, we're linking into MusicNet's top music downloads. Alicia Keys is Usher's Boo at the 5th spot, and Nelly's doing it over and over at 4th. Mario really wants you to let him love you, he's 3rd. Kelly's Not Gone Yet, Since You've Been Gone is number 2. And Green Day kicks it on the Boulevard of Broken Dreams. They're #1 this week.
On the Boulevard of Broken Dreams. Welcome to this week's Game Before the Game, presented by Snickers, where we simulate this week's Monday night matchup, the Baltimore Ravens at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Smash Mouth Football 101. Class is now in session. Willie Parker over right end for a dozen. Parker over the left side for 20 more, which opens up the passing game for Big Ben, who has all day to find Antoine Randall for this 18-yard TD, 7-0 Pittsburgh. Just before the half, Ravens QB Anthony Wright hooks up with rookie Mark Clayton on this 17-yard TD. Ravens stay close, 10-7. Moving ahead to the fourth, Steelers up 13-10. Anthony Wright, doing his best Elway impression, converts this 3rd and 4 to Clayton, who gets loose on the sideline. Another crucial 3rd down. Another completion to Clayton. 13 seconds left. The Ravens going for the win. Jamal Lewis rumbles in to give Baltimore a surprise W on the road. For 52nd half yards and the game-winning score, Lewis is this week's Snickers' hungriest player. See you next week on the Game Before the Game.
A show that made it okay to consider girls on a trampoline a spectator sport. The show that made it okay to laugh at a midget just because he's a midget. Gentlemen, it's okay to be a man again.
Blast away!
The Man Show is back tonight at 10 p.m. on G4. Need a late-night snack? Try barbed wire biscuit. Blow stuff up and learn about science with Brainiac. Get sick and twisted with the Happy Tree Friends and Friends. And sample the best eye candy from Japan with Anime Unleashed and Cinematech Nocturnal Emissions. Taste the party. Barbed wire biscuit. Tonight at midnight.
Let's check out the new releases for this week. What's this? A game based on a movie from the 70s? Geez, what's next? A Jaws game? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. The Warriors riot into stores October 18th. Welcome back to the conclusion of Filter's countdown of the cream of the console crop. Here's how your votes have tallied so far. No, Phil Collins did not work for Sega, but the Genesis is at number 10. The first gender-specific handheld game console, the Game Boy, takes it on the road at number 9. If you need a station for your playing, try number 8's PlayStation. You've already bought this system twice. The Game Boy Advance SP is in 7th. Hey, they still have it in Japan. It must be good. Sega's Dreamcast is 6th. In America, we can make consoles as big as we want, so take that, little sissy consoles. Xbox is 5th. I'm duly shocked that PlayStation 2 is stationed at number 4. If your NES still works without having to blow on the cartridge, slam it into the slot, and push reset repeatedly, I'm impressed. It's 3rd. I had hoped it wouldn't come down to this, but this is your show. It's your votes that pit brother against brother, as Nintendo's Super NES and N64 gird their loins for a fratricidal Filter face-off. All bow to the power of Nintendo as you, the viewers, decided mushrooms and Italian plumbers are the zenith in the history of gaming. As we all know, the N64 is the last great home console to use cartridges. But the honor and pride of the N64 isn't just about being the first 64-bit console. Oh, no.
A lot of those old Nintendo titles, they just kept them strong on the Nintendo 64, and I think that's probably what made it, one of the most successful consoles.
The Super NES certainly isn't shabby in the games lineup department with titles like Super Mario World and Star Fox, but the real reason the Super NES has made it so far up the filter chain is because of its legacy, the console we grew up knowing as our best friend.
There was just something about the Super Nintendo that inspired game makers to make some really great games.
So, what will it be, the 64-bit gaming age or your best friend from the adolescent years? What can I say? Super Mario 64, Super Mario Kart 64, The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Super Smash Bros., and GoldenEye sounds like the winner was decided before we even started.
All of these games were really, really good games for the time because they were fun to play. It was like really the first console to introduce the whole multiplayer aspect because a lot of the games were, 4 players.
I'll have to say, I'm so proud of you people. Looks like you really hit the gaming history books hard and gave it your all. And that's it for another edition of Filter. Congrats to our winner, and for the runners-up, we have some wonderful consolation prizes. Yeah, don't write it. Tune in next week for a Halloween treat as we count down the goriest games. Until then, I'm Diane Mizota, urging you to follow your Dreamcast. Hey guys, how are you doing with those games? I've got 10 more, and they're all portable. Join us as Filter counts down the top games to go coming up next. Welcome to Filter, your one-stop source for the coolest in games, gear, and gadgets. I'm Diane Mizota, inviting you to floss deeply from the Filterator at G4TV.com as we run down this week's top 10, your favorite portable games. So your PC is only as portable as your extension cord will allow, and you can't make it to the fix-your-own Sunday bar? Listen up, Pocket Playboy. It's time to cut the cord with all the best portable games that you can play in public. Too husky to do a kickflip? Well, have no fear. The Birdman is here to save you from abject embarrassment. Thug 2 Remix waxes down the 10 spot this week.
Thug 2 on PSP for that 10's a good spot for it. Visually, it's great soundtrack. They managed to fit a lot of features in it that people are used to from the console version. It works really well.
Thug 2 Remix's totally sick gameplay is so fresh that it'll help you forget what a poser you are. And besides, it could be worse. It could be a rollerblader. Number 9 features some of the purest stuff to ever come out of your PSP. Wipeout Pure, that is.
Racing games always make good portable games. So Wipeout Pure is pretty much a shoo-in to be at the top of a top 10 list of games for portables. And it just is so easy to pick up, have a race, shut it off, and you're done. And it's never something that you have to, no quests, no progression. It's just a race.
With the same visually stunning graphics and blazing speeds that the series is famous for, you'll be telling people that you can quit anytime before you know it. If you're looking for a cartoon-style turn-based strategy war game, and who isn't, then you're probably in the market for our 8th place finisher, Advance Wars.
Advance Wars number 8 should be like number 1, in my opinion. It was so addicting. I would be up in bed playing till 4 or 5 in the morning, just figuring out the strategy, because the AI was just brutal. It just kicked your ass. And you could play up with 4 of your friends, which is a great game. It was just perfect for the handheld. And it was just incredibly deep, and I just love it.
Advance Wars makes modern skirmishes and police actions a whole lot cuter and more wholesome than the ones you see on CNN, and with less annoying politics. Portable games can do many things, but can they curse like Billy Bob Thornton, dance like Napoleon Dynamite, make you feel guilty like Bob Geldof, or charge you $10 for a bottle of water like the vendors at a White Stripes show? Well then, yo, check this out! This week, a whole gang of UMDs for your Sony PSP are out for you to enjoy. Now you can turn any mundane location into a movie theater. Great. Dang. Stop training to be a cage fighter, hop on your Liger, and pick up the Napoleon Dynamite UMD out this week for the PSP. Gosh.
You got like 3 feet of air that time. Can I try it really quick?
And if you're tired of all those visible villains, then pop in the Predator UMD and prepare to be scared. Oh, hell no! The iRobot UMD is taking over your PSP, and somehow, I told you so, doesn't quite say it.
Get off my car!
Meow, do you have a license for that Sony Portable? The Super Troopers UMD is out, Meow. Meow, pull over.
Oh, go girlfriend. I'm your mother. Come on, Thorny, you're losing to the rookie. It's embarrassing. Come on, Rabbit. You can do it. Oh, Rabbit, he's killing you.
On tour this week are the Detroit duo, the White Stripes. Check out Jack and Meg White as they hold up San Diego on the 29th and 30th. Remember, nerds, don't throw peanut butter at Jack because he might box your ears. What's the first rule of dodgeball? There are no New rules for dodgeball. Grab a ball and aim for the fat kid full of chocolate as the Dodgeball Unrated DVD hits stores this week.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
What? Oh. Am I bugging you? I really don't mean to bug you. If you didn't make it to Live 8 2 weeks ago, then jump into a time machine or check out the 20 Years Ago Today limited edition Live 8 DVD. Okay, Bono, play the blues.
My buddy Yorchuk and I already caught the stripes at Club Hollywood in Estonia. They rocked the house. Or they would have. There wasn't any electricity. Speaking of which, we've got bills to pay, so watch these commercials.
Gamers want more.
Sex in video games has great appeal because sex has great appeal.
Others want more restrictions.
The ability of our children to access pornographic material is spiraling out of control.
G4 goes inside the issue that may change what you play forever. Sex and Games, a G4 special report. Tuesday, August 23rd at 11.
Tiny little pocket-sized countdown of your favorite portable games. Skateboard superstar Tony Hawk kicked off our countdown, and you'll see lots more familiar faces along the way to number 1. From the shadowy cellars of Castlevania to cloudy, fluty, new agey skyscapes of Final Fantasy, you've just got to have your console classics with you.
Dracula's a pain in the neck. Get that sucker with number 7's Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. The third Castlevania release on the Game Boy Advance alone allows you to capture the souls of your enemies and use their special powers.
Castlevania Aria of Sorrow is actually one of my favorite portable games. The adventures of Soma Cruz were made so much easier by the fact that you could put your GBA to sleep. That way, if you weren't near a save point, you could put it to sleep, come back to it later, and not have to worry about losing the map of the castle.
Look familiar? Hey, there's a reason why there's like 500 Castlevania games. They rule. A lot has changed since 1990. Bush was president, we were going to war with Iraq, and Game Boys only had one color. Well, one thing hasn't changed. Tetris is still awesome, and it's number 6 this week.
Everybody has played Tetris. I think my mom's played Tetris. It's a game that takes over your life. It's so great for portable because you can just flip it on and play as long as you need to, because I don't even think there's an ending to Tetris.
Pay your respects, blockheads. This is the original gangster of portable Tetris. Looking to get all tactical on some Moogles? Number 5's Final Fantasy Tactics Advance might be just the thing.
Final Fantasy Tactics, that was an important game actually for Nintendo. I liked it a lot because it wasn't your typical Final Fantasy game with some wussy-ass hero, you know, bitching and moaning about his homeland. It was more of a strategy game. And it kind of had a cool isometric view to it, and there was a lot of combat involved.
With so many levels and so much leveling up to do, you'll be saying, "In your face, Koopo," to your enemies for many hours.
You know that Tetris was invented by Russian scientists who wanted an army of hypnotized robot people? I'd show you some photographic proof, but I don't know what digital camera to buy. Let's ask Andrew Hahn from G4 TV Labs in this week's Tech Toss-Up.
So you're out in the town, and you got a really nice suit on and a great date with you. You want to take a camera, but you don't want to mess up the design of your outfit. We got a couple of tiny little digital cameras. They're 5 megapixels, and they won't mess up the style. This guy is the Sony CyberShot DSCP7. Check out this LCD screen on the back. It's 2.5 inches, really huge, really beautiful. And for its size, it still has amazing manual control. You can control the shutter speed, focus, aperture, pretty much everything. The best thing about this camera, though, is definitely its size. It's like half an inch thick, and it's just sexy as hell. With the Sony DSC-T7, you definitely pay for the Sony style. It's about $500. Now, this is the Nikon Coolpix S1, and it's a great little digital camera. It's basically very similar to the T7. It's got a 2.5-inch LCD screen. Now, the Coolpix S1 doesn't have all the great bells and whistles of the T7, but you know what? It's really easy to use, though it's not quite as sleek and thin, but still, $100 cheaper at $400 is a pretty good deal. So after spending some quality time with both cameras, we definitely think it's worth spending a little extra money for the Sony T7.
Along with housing starts and pork belly futures, the EB Games Top 10 is among the world's most reliable indicators of world economic activity. It's true. I read it in this pamphlet from Pueblo, Colorado. Send away and get your own today. Sorry, Yoshi, this egg is rotten. Yoshi Touch and Go stinks up the 10th spot this week. It's aim for suckers. Ping Pals yaps its way into number 9. Don't use the Force, touch it, baby. Star Wars Revenge of the Sith battles number 8. New system, say Mario. Super Mario 64 DS stomps number 7. Wario, where's my Ritalin? WarioWare Touched spazzes into number 6. This game blows my bomb. Bomberman lights up number 5. Lace up your sneaky sneakers. Splinter Cell Chaos Theory spooks number 4. Are you going to be renewing your license to kill today? GoldenEye Rogue Agent shakes up number 3. The sky is falling, rising? Meteos rocks number 2. Kirby's a pain in the ball. Kirby Canvas Curse rolls into our top spot this week. We rely on the web for so many different things, from paying bills to booking vacations to accidentally searching for shirtless pictures of Wilford Brimley. Oops, I said too much. And here's John Walsh with more of your favorite bookmarks in this week's Net to Know.
Dear Dr. Phil, does this look infected? Please say yes. At number 3 this week, as many of you know, I worked my way through divinity school making book on college sports for a powerful criminal syndicate headquartered in Hershey, Pennsylvania, which is why I like to encourage budding entrepreneurs whenever I can. Now, Sean Siegel writes us with his baby, collegehoops.net. Check it out now and get a jump on the season. Hey, you shut up. That was a beauty. And Prairie Dogging at number 2. You know, Ralph Dagsa could have lied and said he was dying of something, like those twerps you read about in the Inquirer who just want to set the record for the most get-well cards ever received, me. But he didn't. He just straight up told us he needed some publicity. So, check out his site, ralphdagsa.com. But you know what's funny? I checked. He really is dying. And at number 1, finally, a little truth in advertising. Robbie Covington writes to tell us that his site, spaceminis.com, might have a crappy layout. I'd like to confirm that, in fact, it does. But if you don't have a weird little kid living down the hall who likes to blather on and on about random stuff, this might be the next best thing. And that, America, is all you Net to Know.
Got a site you've got to share? Send those links to nettoknow@g4tv.com. And dear viewer, if you don't come back after these commercials, I shall be ever so vexed.
Sports to order, or go to directvsports.com/NFL for more details.
Welcome back to Filter's lint-covered sweaty countdown of your favorite pocket game. Wario isn't exactly on my short list of people I want to reach out and touch, but his milkshake brought you boys to the yard. Wario's at it again, and he ain't making pizza. He's putting wacky mini-games in your hands. If you like oxymoronic statements like mega micro games and putting dollar signs in words, then you'll love our number 4 pick, WarioWare for the GBA.
WarioWare is probably one of the most addicting games I've ever played in my life. I remember seeing it and thinking, that is the most random, like, what the hell game I've ever seen in my life. The whole game is nonsense, but it's so brilliant in that it's nonsense.
These days, who has time for all those macro games anyway? And besides, that one where you have to pick the nose is awesome. Long before the famed One Mission came Metroid Zero Mission, and the advanced remake of the NES original Metroid title blasts the number 3 spot this week.
Zero Mission, a solid game, a lot better than Fusion. Graphics just look a lot better.
Metroid is so timeless. You remember why you love video games when you play a game like Metroid.
Spoiler alert, Samus is a woman. You're on your own if you want to know the ending, though. I just played early code of this new Metroid game. It's kind of an RPG where Samus runs into the Fab Five from Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. They're calling it Metroid Sexual. Oh, shut up! I don't write this crap. Here's tech reporter John Walsh, who does write this crap, with another edition of Tales from the Dork Side.
This week, we're bringing you a head-to-head comparison of two popular point-and-shoot 5-megapixel digital cameras. What better place for that than among the ink-stained wretches at the Artistry and Ink Tattoo Convention in Anaheim, California. So, Brian, it's interesting. It says on your back here, it says, I voted for clay. Sweet. Yeah. Exactly what I wanted. So, Brooke, what have you got there?
I got the Konica Minolta.
Ah, that's a 5-megapixel point-and-shoot. It's very nice and light and slim, nice and compact. It's got a good big viewfinder. Cool, cool.
Nice crystal clear shot of everything.
Good stuff. We're going to try it out and see what it looks like, okay?
Okay.
Here, take a look at your back. You haven't seen it yet.
These are hooks for flesh hanging. Sweet. Well, this is a little process where you pierce various places of your body, your back, your knees, your chest, even your ass, and you push hooks there, through there, and you hang from them.
I'd like to get a tattoo of Hervé Villachez. You know, tattoo? Okay, why?
It's fun. We just love to do it.
Sarah, tell me about the HP PhotoSmart there.
It is perfect to take pictures of all of these T-shirts for Life or Crime.
Do I detect a slight plug?
Just a little one.
Little plug's better than no plug, all right, Sarah?
You can share your photos really easily over the internet.
Oh, nice. Plug and go?
Yeah. Got a 5.2 megapixel sensor, a nice big LCD, you can see. The optical zoom is 3x.
That's one of the biggest things I look for in a tattoo, digital camera for tattooing, is the optical zoom versus the digital zoom.
Digital zoom is for punks, man.
Yeah.
You've set it in video mode so you can capture short video clips.
It's pretty cool. It's amazing. I love this camera.
You're such a shill.
All right, let's take this. Let's give this a shot, all right?
Girls, you better hold on to something.
I'm going to go out and buy it today.
Wow. Well, you know what? Just for that, I'm going to go out and buy some hanging hooks. And I want to get the new G4 logo tattooed on my ass. And I'll have to have the old NBC logo taken off. Typically, how much does it cost per square inch to remove a tattoo?
It's $49 a square inch, and if it's a large area, we do give a discount.
Do you have any T-shirts that are actually safe for television?
Yeah, we got a few. Man whore. It's, you know, not too bad.
Well, that's all from the Artistry and Ink Tattoo Convention in Anaheim, California. I showed off some cool new digital cameras, showed off my own tattoo once or twice, and now I think I'll get something pierced. I'm going to start with a Prince Albert. Hey, buddy, you have anything larger? Service? Well, they lost my business.
You'd never expect that from a preacher's kid, would you? Speaking of which, God will strike you with a plague if you miss our Filter Face-Off up next. This week, we take a listen to Napster's top 5 rock downloads. Howie Day collides into number 5 with his single Collide. At number 4 this week is Green Day's Holiday. And on the bright side, the Killer's hit, Mr. Brightside, lands in 3rd. Not quite the best of the countdown, but close. The Foo Fighters' Best of You is number 2. And Rivers Cuomo may not be celibate anymore, but Weezer takes the number 1 spot with their hit, Beverly Hills.
Call now at 800-766-2010.
Sweaty brutes in this action RPG surely know how to hack up fools, or at least they will after you train them in the badass ways of the Coliseum. Coliseum Road to Freedom slices into stores July 19th. Square Enix is bringing you yet another cel-shaded anime RPG to ogle over. Full Metal Alchemist 2 Curse of the Crimson Elixir materializes into stores July 12th. Yeah, Harry Potter may choose to zip around on his bushy broom, but honestly, wouldn't you want to soar the starry sky on the plastic paradise of your toilet seat? Oh, fine, you lazy boys. Just play this magical PC compilation of your favorite Potter games. World of Harry Potter flies into stores July 18th. Welcome back to Filter's countdown of your favorite portable games. Remember when we started the countdown like 15 minutes ago? That was awesome. It went like this. Despite being thuggish, you accepted Thug 2 Remix into the countdown this week at the 10th spot. It's not purely coincidental that Wipeout Pure wiped out the competition and came in 9th. Attention! Advance Wars is 8th. Now get off my obstacle, Marine. And you can stop with your aria of sorrow because there's a Castlevania title in our countdown at 7th. In Soviet Russia, you don't play Tetris. Tetris plays you. The classically puzzling Game Boy title blocks out 6th place. Dude, can I borrow an X potion? Final Fantasy Tactics advances into the 5th position. Installing itself into the number 4 spot is WarioWare for your GBA. Now look out for plumber-related pop-up ads. And maybe they should call it 3 Mission. No, actually 0 is better. Metroid Zero Mission is in 3rd.
I wish my plumber was even half as cheerful as Mario. And while I'm wishing, I'd kind of like for Link to get some slack. I get chilly just looking at him. But what'll it be, the perky tradesman or no pants boy? It's a conundrum only our Filter face-off can settle.
Return to the Valley of the Son of the Rehash as our top 2 contenders face off for 1st place. Each of these titles gained glory on the go when they ported over to the Game Boy Advance. Portable versions of The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, and Super Mario World duke it out in a battle even your fattest pants can't hold. Famous for the debut of that lovable dragon Yoshi, Super Mario Advance 2 put the Super NES Classic in a handy takeout container.
Super Mario Advance 2 was great. It's one of those games that you realize, I don't have to take Super Mario Brothers with me. I don't have to take my NES. I have it in my pocket.
The guy with the green dragon versus the elf with the green hat. Okay, let's make it interesting and throw 4 more swords into the mix.
It was one of the greatest games ever, and it's on the GBA, translated perfectly to kind of really revamp the multiplayer. So you have this 4 swords adventure, which could have been a cartridge on its own.
So what's it gonna be? The Italian stallion plumbing sensation, or 4 cute little elves yelling, "Hi!" You had to go with the 4 elves, didn't ya?
Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past is a great, great game because you can do it with friends or you can have, your own fun by yourself.
I don't know what's tougher, telling Mom you're playing 4 swords with your friends or that you're playing with yourself.
Well, that high-maintenance Hushi Princess Zelda still has her hooks in him, but everybody's favorite elf boy takes the Filter face-off by a nose. If Link ever learns to like himself, we'll see what she's doing to him. Thanks for watching our countdown of your favorite portable games. Tune in next week when we filterize your favorite comic book games. Until then, I'm Diane Mizoda, and my mom said I'd never get anywhere with these games. If Mark Twain were alive today, he'd describe our modern classics as games which people praise but do not play. Either that or he'd scream and scratch frantically on the inside lid of his coffin. Either way, we're counting down GamePro Magazine's modern classic video games up next. Welcome to Filter, where gamers are gamers and women have never felt safer in their lives. I'm Diane Mizoda, and this week we pulled the big game brains at GamePro Magazine for their modern classics and stacked them up against your Filterator choices at G4TV.com. The top 10 titles range everywhere from the mean streets of Vice City to the farthest frontiers of outer space. If you've been under a rock for the past 2 decades, then you've got some brushing up to do on your game collection. That's why this week we're counting down the top 10 modern classics that every gamer should own. And to make things interesting, we had the guys from GamePro Magazine and Games.net give us their picks to see how they stack up against your faves. Number 10 on your list of must-haves is Rockstar's Grand Theft Auto 3.
Most people who have played this game can still remember where they were when they realized that they could go anywhere and do anything in Liberty City with no repercussions.
Grand Theft Auto 3 is really sort of the first game that it's a game that introduced a new style of gameplay to video games. It's kind of revolutionary in that respect, and that was sort of the so-called free-roaming environment.
Even though there are technically 5 GTA games, you really only need to play this one. Besides, they didn't change anything in the last 2 anyway.
Then you look at a game like Diablo 2, and it's sort of the same thing, that when it came out for the PC, it sort of changed the idea of what a role-playing game could be.
The number 9 must-have on our list is Namco's Soul Calibur. If you bought a Dreamcast at its launch, you probably fawned over the amazing graphics and infinite playability of this title.
Soul Calibur I like because, you could be a crazy hardcore fighting gamer, or you could just be like, button mashing. You just pick up the game, rent it, and, you see some swords flying, and that's fun.
I always wonder, can the Soul Blade actually see out of that eye?
Nearly every single Zelda game that comes out could be considered a classic in its own right.
In light of number 8 being Halo 2, you're probably wondering why the original isn't here on the list. Well, the second installment did add to the multiplayer aspect in ways that now seem vital. In addition, the game's single-player missions were more fleshed out and offered more variety of play.
The single player is what it is. It's fun to play, but the multiplayer is where the meat and potatoes are. It's just a game that anybody can pick up and play. It's very competitive. Once you've mastered it, you can take a lot of people out.
We got trouble.
Also, the game's Xbox Live voice chat is responsible for giving a nation full of racist homophobes a medium for spewing out slurs without fear of being punished. Way to go.
Ain't nothing we ain't done before.
Sonic the Hedgehog at the time, back in the 90s when it came out, was a very unusual game. It had a very different type of gameplay, which was you had this hedgehog that ran super fast, like the Flash, like faster than any other. That was the big thing. It was faster than any other video game character.
We're going to boldly go to a commercial right now, but don't you wander off. We'll hear from Snake, Mario, and Cloud Strife when Filter's Modern Classic Countdown continues.
8582. Call now. Quick 6.
Welcome back to Filter and GamePro Magazine's first ever salute to modern classic video games. What makes a game a classic? Some might say it's pulse-pounding combat action, others might say it's a good-time arcade experience, and others will tell you it's all about the hero with the spiky hair. And as our countdown continues, you'll see that they're all right. Before gaming's favorite spy became a snake eater, there was Metal Gear Solid. The Hideo Kojima masterpiece makes 7th place on our countdown of classic games. The game's little nuances, such as the little exclamation points over guards' heads, will forever live in the hearts of stealth fans everywhere.
Metal Gear Solid, I mean, it was the first game that introduced stealth to sort of just the commando game genre, and it really took the emphasis away from actually shooting stuff.
This game has also spawned many successful sequels, including a GameCube remake, proving that dialogue doesn't have to make sense completely to be entertaining.
It's one of those games that sort of started a whole genre on its own back before there was even a survival horror genre at all.
Let's go! Back to the heyday of the N64 for number 6's Super Mario 64.
This Mario is annoying. Like, it's me, Mario! And he's just talking really obnoxious, and, you know, it's just really goofy. I think it's overrated, and just people were just drooling and fawning over it just because it was in 3D.
Super Mario 64 also scored some positive exposure for Italian-American activist groups hoping to get away from negative mafia stereotypes.
It's a mix of action, storytelling, and online gaming that will probably go down as being one of the best FPS console experiences ever.
If you owned a PlayStation during any part of its hardware cycle, you probably spent hours staring at the beautiful fantasy world that Final Fantasy VII portrayed. The Square Enix epic comes in fifth.
Like, if you look at Nintendo, they had Mario Brothers. You look at N64, they had Mario 64. You look at the PlayStation, and you have Final Fantasy VII. It sort of defined what the PlayStation gaming experience was when it first came about.
The cultural ramifications of the game are vastly apparent even today. It's responsible for a considerable amount of Tifa-related softcore on the web, and probably more than half of the message board members on the Gaming Age forums have Sephiroth somewhere in their handle.
Castlevania is sort of a classic, Dracula vampire hunting adventure game.
No classic games episode would be complete without a nod to the machine that started many a gamer down the slippery slope to bad posture and sore thumb tendons, the personal computer. Let's check out the top-selling PC titles down at EB Games. This week, Sims 2 begins a virtual life with number 10. Madden NFL 06 fumbles number 9. The annoying aliens from Half-Life 2 invade number 8. Number 7 endures the never-ending Final Fantasy 11. Dungeon Siege 2 locks up number 6. Number 5 instigates the Guild Wars. Battlefield 2 waves the white flag to number 4. Consuming number 3's life is World of Warcraft. EverQuest 2 Desert of Flames ignites number 2. And getting down with the top spot this week are the digital dancers from Sims 2 Nightlife Expansion Pack. Ooh, ooh. What do Gordon Freeman and Sonic the Hedgehog have in common? They're both up next as Filter's classic game countdown continues. Oh, plus they're dating. I know, he seems so much like Born to Mario.
Ultimate flare control. We'll see.
Welcome back for more timeless gaming titles and Filter and GamePro's modern classic countdown. There's something iconic about a butt-kicking nerd. That's why Gordon Freeman struck such a chord with so many gamers in Half-Life 1 and 2. Sonic, on the other hand, takes a bit of explaining. Hey now, it's the high-speed Hedgehog hailing the 4th position. The 16-bit side-scrolling Sonic Speed Fest made waves and put it in the running to be one of your top classic favorites.
Sonic is a classic. It offered such a fast-paced, platformer compared to Mario. It was just a different pacing, He was more hardcore than Mario, who was this cushy fat plumber.
Personally, I think Sonic is less of a heroic figure and more of a greedy one. I mean, he seems to run fastest when he's trying to collect gold rings. What does he need them all for anyway? Number 3 on our must-have list is Half-Life 2.
Half-Life 2 is like the perfect sequel. And it looks better, it plays better, it has all the strengths of the previous game when you really kind of put first-person shooters on the map.
The game gets huge props for immersing the player in a hyper-realistic world with an ultra-detailed physics model. I wish I had a gravity gun. I get so tired of picking things up with my hands and carrying them around. I guess I could also get a manservant, but the gravity gun is just so much cooler.
When someone had an N64, you went over to their house and played GoldenEye. Because 4 players, split screen, primitive by today's standards, but at the time it was just a blast.
Welcome back to the conclusion of Filter and GamePro's modern classic countdown. From gun-toting drug fiends to battle-hardened space marines, hyperactive hedgehogs to stealthy assassins, all manner of characters inhabit your top 10 list this week. Here's how you voted so far. This week, Grand Theft Auto 3 outruns the cops, kills a hooker, and steals the 10th spot. At number 9, Soul Calibur has way more soul than Soul Plane, and less rock cocaine than James Brown. Halo 2 is no noob to the countdown, it shoots up 8th place. Snake is dead. Wait, no, he's at number 7. 64-bit plumber? What's next, 128-bit gardener? Oh, fine. Super Mario 64 is 6. I'm sure this won't be the final time that Final Fantasy VII shows up on our countdown. It's 5th. At number 4, Sonic the Hedgehog proves to be more popular than any high-speed badger or skunk bear. Though the ending makes it seem like half of a game, Half-Life 2 makes the countdown at 3rd. GoldenEye 64 versus the Ocarina of Time. The Master Spy versus the Brave Elf Guy. One likes stirring adventures, the other likes shaken martinis. But which one really rocks your world? You're about to find out in this week's Filter Face-Off. Zelda's zealous zestiness or guileful golden gadgets? This week's Filter Face-Off is going to be classic either way. If your idea of a classic game includes doing ocarina solos and Lilliputians named Link, then you'd probably vote for the fan favorite, The Legend of Zelda, The Ocarina of Time.
I think a lot of fans of Zelda were just enamored with it. Being able to ride a horse, being able to go to so many different areas of the Hyrule world. Basically, it set the stage, too, for future Zelda games. Even the Wind Waker is heavily influenced by Ocarina of Time.
The perennial 4-player party platter, GoldenEye 007 on the Nintendo 64 is back on our countdown, and this time, it's in the running for its classic multiplayer death matches. Ah, I miss those good old N64 days when people would sit back with a beer and get slapped in the crotch by Oddjob.
Yeah, everybody loves that game. It really, people played it over and over again, and then even when they finished playing it, they'd get together in these multiplayer games, with the N64 and just, would play it forever. They'll still play it now if you set it up.
So, what's more classic? The timeless Ocarina or the solid gold GoldenEye? Yo, Shorty, play that flute.
The Ocarina of Time had a couple of different types of gameplay elements in it, one was the ocarina. You had to learn musical tones to make things happen. You also had a first-person view gameplay, which enabled them to use a bow and arrow and a slingshot. So there's a lot of different things that you could do with the game, and that's why fans really liked it. It's a great game.
You just can't topple this legendary game. The Legend of Zelda, The Ocarina of Time proves to be the #1 classic game that you have no choice but to own.
Earthworm Jim is such an unusual character, an earthworm with superhero skills. But one thing about this game was that it was gorgeous to look at, and the animation was very smooth. How many imitators have come after Metal Gear trying to capture that stealth gameplay element? Most fail, but some get it right, and Metal Gear is always going to be that classic game that started it all.
And so the suave super spy takes it on the chin from the elfin adventurer. Way to go, Link! And that's it, kids. You've squeezed out all the filter you're going to get from me tonight. Join us next week when we count down your favorite DVDs from the summer of '05. And don't forget to cast your vote on the Filterator at G4TV.com. Until next time, I'm Diane Mizota, reminding you that you can't spell classic without ASS. That's right. I said it.
Got a minute? It's all you need tonight when Filter counts down your favorite quick fix games. Park that keister and drop that clicker. We're coming at you now. Welcome to Filter, the top 10 pop culture countdown show that isn't afraid to point fingers, name names, and break wind at the dinner table. Excuse me. I'm Diane Mizota, and tonight I've got all the time in the world. Your Filterator picks are all quick fix favorites. Those games you can pick up and play whenever you have a few minutes to kill. You won't find a lot of RPGs on the list like this. Quick fixes are more about running mazes, collecting coins, and kicking your opponent's can to the curb. Itching for a quick dose of gaming goodness? Then gorge yourself on these instant gratifiers that provide all the thrills of a Final Fantasy cutscene without the potential loss of social interaction. So pop a couple Ritalin, drink a Jolt Cola, and take a deep breath as we count down your top 10 quick fix games. How come all the brawling brutes in number 10's Street Fighter Anniversary Collection insist on roughing it up on the street? Don't they know pedestrians are forbidden on the road? Let's hope they at least choose to scuffle on designated crosswalks.
Street Fighter is just such a great classic. It doesn't matter which version of Street Fighter you have, except for the movie game. Even though you haven't played the game in years, all these special moves will just come out of the back of your head, back into your brain, and you'll remember and you're kicking ass.
Street Fighter 2 is by far my favorite Street Fighter of all time. Or was it Street Fighter Alpha 2? No, it was Super Street Fighter 2. Actually, never mind. I like Virtua Fighter. Some people kickstart their day by gulping down a cup of joe. Others peruse the daily paper. Me? I like to begin each morning watering my garden with fresh blood from crushed carcasses in number 9's Mortal Kombat Deception.
In Mortal Kombat specifically, I think people get drawn towards it being so violent. It's a change of pace. You get that satisfying fatality at the end. Once you completely own somebody already in a fight, you get to pretty much disgrace them at the end.
I don't condone performing fatalities unless you've received some sort of certificate in decapitation. Professionals only, please. Sure, I might be an amazingly gifted television host, but my talents don't stop at my striking good looks and whimsical wit. No, they don't. That's right, I'm also a proficient painter. Well, if you count my radiant rainbows and number 8's Kirby Canvas Curse.
You don't have to learn complicated controls about, you know, what moves, what jumps, what does that. You have a stylus and you can draw lines, and as soon as Kirby starts moving, you're like, oh, I get it. You know, if I draw a wall, Kirby bounces off. You know, if I do this, Kirby goes this way. It's just really easy to understand the concept of the game.
Cruelly cursing Kirby and canvases is kinda a concoction of craziness, if you ask me. But I guess you didn't.
Now slow down a second. Cool your jets there, Space Ranger. Take a little you time. Stop and smell the roses. Or go buy a DVD or check out a new band. In other words, yo, check this out. Welcome back to Filter's Quick Fix Countdown. The Nintendo DS is great for passing time while you're, say, waiting in line, but you don't want to get too involved in some epic RPG because the blood bank could open any second and you've got plasma to sell. That's what's great about our next title. Give it a little scratch behind the ears and your Nintendog is one happy pup. They're cute, they're cuddly, they're insanely adorable, and they won't use your carpet as a urinal. That's right, they're Nintendogs. And I don't care which breed you choose, it deserves the 7th spot.
It's the whole Tamagotchi virtual pet paradigm where, you know, you're doing something that's not really a game. Somehow you're entertained, even though it's pretty stupid to be treating like a little digital picture of a dog like a real dog. And in the end, though, you shut it off. You're like, yeah, that was fun.
I'd like to train my dog more in obedience tricks, but I have reservations about yelling, "Get down!" and "Roll over" in public, especially at the bank. I had a dream that I had an evil sister named Warren. She was evil, and my parents locked her up in the attic for years. Then one day she came out and started making us play stupid games where you try to pick your nose and stuff. Maybe I was just playing too much WarioWare, which, by the way, is your number 6 pick this week.
WarioWare is all about the ADD generation, people who can't even last 5 seconds doing something that their attention span is drawn to something else. So it's like lightning flashes of mini games.
Hold up! I'm not ready to read this VO yet. I have more nostrils to shove this finger into. There are only 2 women in the world who can eat constantly and look great, and I hate them both. First is Kate Moss, and the second is Ms. Pac-Man. Ms. Pac-Man may not look like a supermodel, but hey, she's a Fedra-free. She's also your choice for number 5.
Yeah, it's just instantly fun. It's one of those things I don't even think you can really define. Ms. Pac-Man is just fun, and you play it, and everybody likes to play it because it's so easy.
It's a nice, goalless experience that you can just jump into, and you don't feel bad about stopping.
Come to think of it, Ms. Pac-Man may not be the best role model. She has a pretty compulsive dot-eating problem. I mean, geez, show some restraint, lady.
Say you're sitting at home waiting for your date to arrive. Quick Fix games are perfect for a situation like that because those girls charge by the hour. But whether you're playing for hours, minutes, or even just a few seconds, you want your games to look their best. That's when I turned to Canada's greatest export since Labatt's, Han Choi from G4 TV Labs for the best LCD monitors in this week's Tech Toss-Up.
So with the new Xbox 360, all the games are going to be in high definition. So to make full use of it, make it look really good, you're going to need a high-def display to go along with it. So here's two options for around $1,000. This is a ViewSonic N2750W. It's a 27-inch widescreen LCD. The beauty of it, it's got a ton of connections. You got DVI, VGA, 2 components, and your standard connections as well. That means you can connect your Xbox 360, a high-def tuner, and a computer all at the same time. But the most important thing is image quality, and that includes color accuracy and detail. With video, I didn't notice any breaks or any artifacts in the images. And with color accuracy, the ViewSonic does a pretty good job across the board. There's no oversaturation. But my only complaint is the black levels. The backlight tends to overblow the dark tones, so it's not as dark as you'd expect. If you're looking to pick up this 27-inch ViewSonic, it'll cost you $1,000. This is a Hyundai HQL 320WR. It's a 32-inch LCD, so it's 5 inches bigger than the ViewSonic. But there's a few problems with it. There's no DVI connector, and the VGA and component connections use the same audio channel, so you're not going to be able to connect, say, an Xbox 360 and a high-def tuner at the same time. When it comes to image quality, Hyundai does a decent job. Video tends to look really smooth, there's no tearing or artifacting. But when it comes to color accuracy, the Hyundai tends to oversaturate the reds. So even things like white fluffy clouds tend to have a tinge of red in it. If you're looking to pick up the Hyundai HQL 320WR, it'll cost you $950. After spending time with both of these televisions, I'd have to go with the ViewSonic. Fine, it's 5 inches smaller than the Hyundai, but the image quality and the flexibility of connections is a must-have in this high-definition world.
Coming up next, yes, the greatest Japanese export since Pat Morita, Katamari Damacy. It's up next as Filter's Quick Fix Countdown continues right after this.
I guess a quick fix games, probably a racing game or so. I guess you do a few tracks. I guess it's you start all over and same tracks over and over again.
Grand Theft Auto Vice City, like I just pick it up, walk around, get in a car, or run over people. You know, something fun. It's like 2 minutes. If I get tired, I just switch to something else.
I play the Colts Steelers sometimes. Play a quick game, 2 or 3 minutes. Just a little warm-up, just to warm up. And then I guess I just switch teams. So that I can get more challenges, because every team is different when you play them. That's about it.
Welcome back, Coffee Achievers, to Filter's countdown of your favorite quick fix games. I know you've heard me say this before, so I'll be as brief as I can. Oh my God, I love Katamari Damacy so much. It is so awesome, it rules, and if you don't like it, you're a weirdo, so go out and buy it now because it is the coolest game ever. There. Thank you for indulging me. If I had tried to keep that in, I don't know what might have happened. Frankly, I don't see why this is a quick fix game, because once you pick it up, you probably won't want to stop playing until all the pixels in your flat screen go dead. Evidently, some of you have a little more self-control than I do in this particular area. Don't let it go to your head. Number 4's Katamari Damacy is so refreshingly simple, any virgin gamer can safely get their palms sweaty without the fear of getting lost in clunky controls and confusing menus. Well, that's assuming that they have 2 fingers and the ability to move them. Then they can roll over crap. Lots and lots of crap.
You're rolling around picking trash up, and you just keep doing it, and it becomes addictive to keep doing it. It's one of those games that it's not very cerebral. Like, you don't have, like, a lot of requirements to get into it.
Oh, if only taking out the garbage was half as fun as rolling over it with a big old sticky alien ball. This classic noggin stumper falls into a special place in my heart, and if you move the block to the right, no, your other right, to the right, I said. What is wrong with you? Oh, forget it, blockhead. Tetris is at number 3.
I find that every time I pick up Tetris, it is very easy to pick it up and start, and you just can't stop once you start going. I mean, nothing really changes either. You're just kind of trying to clear these things away, and before you know it, you're stuck playing for hours.
Thanks to Tetris, not only have I achieved eternal happiness through feng shui, but I've also become quite versed in Russian classical music. Welcome back to Filter's countdown of your favorite quick fix games. You picked them on the Filterator at G4TV.com, and here's how your top 10 shapes up so far. exactly how does one fight a street? Street Fighter Anniversary smacks up our countdown this week at number 10. Number 9 scores an impressive flawless victory on the limb-lobbing Mortal Kombat Deception. Poor Kirby. Even with a snazzy DS game, the anthropomorphic pink puffball is cursed to the number 8 spot. The cuddly pups from Nintendogs use their mesmerizing cuteness to wow number 7 into submission. Don't blink, you might miss WarioWare at number 6. Ms. Pac-Man managed to gobble up half the competition. She's at number 5. Katamari Damacy rolls right on over number 4. Looks like Tetris just couldn't fit into the top spots. It filled up number 3.
I wonder how baby Luigi would do against the Intimidator Dale Earnhardt in a real kart race. Tragically, we'll never know. But in happier news, we'll find out how Mario Kart Double Dash stacks up against Soul Calibur 2 in this week's Filter Face-Off.
Do your thumbs work for the thrill of speed or the strength of steel? Let's find out in this week's Filter Face-Off as Mario Kart Double Dash throws the brass knuckles on Soul Calibur 2. I don't care if Fran Mirabella III gave it a 7.9. If I'm looking for a quick racing duel, there's nothing better than Mario Kart Double Dash.
I did give it a 7.9 out of 10 on IGN, and kids and adults, Mario fans, did not like that. But you know what? The fact is that Mario Kart is a great series, period. And yeah, it's like such a great multiplayer game, and I think that's what makes it a great quick fix game.
You know, girls love to fight. Instead of a long-winded fight about how you don't listen, try 3 rounds from Soul Calibur 2.
Some people will say that Soul Calibur 2 is so popular because you can button mash your way to victory. And, you know, to a certain extent, yeah, you can get away with it. It doesn't always work, but once in a while, you can just give the controller to a newbie and they'll just go, you know, that's it. Soul still burns, he wins.
So, what will it be? A mad mushroom-tinged dash? Or a kingdom of gladiatorial swashbucklers? Welcome to the stage of mystery.
I love Soul Calibur 2. Anybody can get into that, and it's got a great cast of characters with really cool weapons, and I think that that's one of the big appealing things about that game.
So you guys chose the violence over the speed. I don't blame you. It's more fun to beat people up than leave them to eat dust. That's just the way it is.
And so the SS Filter steams into port at the end of another wondrous journey. We're kind of like the Love Boat in a way. Only you won't find Charo on our Lido deck. In fact, we don't even have a Lido deck. But don't let that stop you from voting on the Filterator, posting on the message boards, or checking out some show clips at g4tv.com. Until next time, I'm Diane Mizoda, and if it ain't quick broke, then don't quick fix it.
Now on Filter, we're looking at the best action hero.
Diane Mizoda, and this is Filter, a glimpse inside the world of video games by way of a unique top 10 list compiled by your ratings on the Filter website. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, The Rock, and Mario? Okay, so maybe the little plumber from the mushroom world shouldn't be considered an action hero, but the game industry has no shortage of characters that should. Today's show tallies up your online rankings in the Filterator to create our next list. The top 10 action heroes. Now, most of the time, heroes stand alone. However, occasionally they are accompanied by a sidekick. Seeing as how the sidekick is often maligned or overlooked, here is a mini list to honor some of your suggestions for the best video game sidekicks. Aliens Cortex-33 was a big fan of Navi, Link's hook-me-up in Zelda Ocarina of Time. And why not? Navi's always slipping you tips and soaring up to hard-to-reach places to help you out. And face it, nothing beats a good old-fashioned fairy sidekick to get you out of a tight spot, right? Amos Famous loves Luigi from the Mario series and is stoked that Nintendo launched the GameCube with Luigi's Mansion. My man Luigi going solo and coming up in the world. That's no small feat for the tiny half-pint. Briar Tuck wanted us to include Cortana from Halo. Good call, Briar Tuck, because you know what they say. Behind every good man stands an even better woman. And bringing up the rear is Tails from the Sonic the Hedgehog series. Brass Ring sent multiple emails asking us to give Tails props. No pun intended. So a shout out to Tails and a shout out to Brass Ring and all my other online buddies. Log on to g4tv.com and keep the feedback coming. All right, are you up to the task at hand? It's time to find the needle in the haystack and anoint the top 10 video game action heroes. Bigger is not necessarily better, and our first entrant in this week's list proves it. Don't let his size fool you. Abe from the Oddworld series may not be the strongest, most handsome, or slickest hero, but that doesn't stop him from playing Moses and freeing his people from oppression. Plus, he's got psychic powers strong enough to have his enemies eat out of his hand and do his bidding. Standing tall at number 10, there's nothing odd about this pick.
I like Oddworld.
Oddworld.
I actually have Abe tattooed on my
Do you really? That's commitment.
Definitely easy on the heart. Can a smooth criminal be considered an action hero? According to your ratings in the Filter Rater, you bet he can. Garrett from the Thief series of games developed by Looking Glass is no stranger to hero-type activity. Whooping up on punks, saving his peeps, and scaling towering buildings are all in a day's work. Of course, so is jacking all the sweet loot in sight. And you better be prepared, because when Garrett decides to lift it, you might as well just fork it. He must not have had his heart set on number 1, because he rolls in at number 9. Is the thinking man's hero as he uses his brains, not his brawn, to make his way from one situation to the next. Armed with a lockpick, blackjack, sword, and bow, Garrett must use a light touch and an even lighter step to stay ahead of his pursuers. Garrett must survive in a world where shadows are his only ally. Trust is not an option, and confrontation results in death. If you haven't had a chance to walk in Garrett's shoes, head over to the IDOS website and download a free demo so you can check it out. When you think of the prototypical hero, you think tough, smart, fearless, but beautiful? Why not? Our next hero has caused quite a stir amongst the male gaming populace. She struts like a supermodel, has the finesse of a world-class athlete, and knows how to handle a piece. With an insatiable thirst for adventure, this lassie is one bad Brit babe. She's Tomb Raider's Lara Croft, and she's raiding the 8th spot on this week's countdown.
I love aggressive women, so she goes in and she kicks tail. And she gets the job done, and I enjoy that.
Think Tomb Raider, and you think Lara Croft. Think Lara Croft, and you think superstar. The Duchess of St. Bridget, as she's referred to by those in the know, was born on February 14th, 1967 in Wimbledon, England. At 5'9" and 115 pounds, she packs a wallop twice her size. The object of a major motion picture, a Paramount Studios theme ride, and the affections of men and women the world over, this action hero has got it all together. Easy come, easy go.
I'm in love with it.
Okay, we're just getting started. When we come back, we'll continue our look at the top 10 action heroes. And remember, if you want to influence future Filter episodes, ask a question, or just say hi, head on over to the Filter show page at g4tv.com/filter. More Filter coming up. and welcome back to Filter. I'm Diane, and we're just about to dive into the midsection of our top 10 action heroes list as created by you at the Filter website. Before the break, we saw Oddworld's Abe at number 10, Garrett from Thief at number 9, and the lovely Lara Croft at number 8. That's 3 out of the barrel, 7 in the sights. Let's keep moving. It, that fantastical, intangible, unattainable, and innate superstar quality that separates the hero from the zero. Many actors have it, as do rock stars and athletes. So why should video game characters be immune? One look at Duke Nukem and you know he's got it. Powerful, aggressive, handsome, and always ready to bust a quick one-liner, Mr. Nukem has been a video game hero since the early days of side-scrollers. Duke likes his ladies hot and his guns big and isn't afraid to split the uprights with an alien eyeball. My kind of guy. Here's Duke Nukem, hero to the masses, at number 7. Front and center in over a half-dozen games, Duke Nukem's always up for a party. And if that party includes strapping on a plasma cannon and tangoing with the likes of aliens, octobrains, and pig cops, then so be it. Blood, guts, bullets, and octane, baby. That's the way he likes it.
I am back.
Delivering big-time beatdowns in present-day Los Angeles, the old-school West, and the ancient Coliseum, Duke's out to save the world. So grab a cigar and come along for the ride. Unlike Bad Boy Duke, our next hero doesn't really frequent gyms or strip bars, but he is tougher than he looks. He's a sword-wielding, boomerang-tossing madman that can take down baddies more than twice his size. And in Zelda, he plays one mean flute. Let's call him David to Duke's Goliath. Let's call him Link. And let's call him Hero at number 6.
Legend of Zelda's classic good guy. You got Link. He's got a shield, sword, he's ready for action, he's going for the princess. You got the bad guy, you got to beat him on all the different layers. It's so medieval, man.
In the epic Pauper Princess series that is Zelda, little Link represents the ultimate boy hero. Link comes of age in a game that makes him a hero for the ages. Sometimes the hero has to battle some pretty creepy villains, and what's creepier than the giant mother brain from Metroid? Samus Aran is our second female to make your list, and has she got the style or what? Samus rocked a futuristic suit of armor while dispatching life-sucking Metroids. She also throws down with the likes of Mario and Star Fox in Super Smash Bros. Melee. She's been drawing heat for years, and that's because she brings the heat. Sitting pretty at number 5, Samus Aran. Samus Aran, one of the galaxy's best bounty hunters. Armed with cybernetic armor and an arm-mounted laser rifle, Samus is charged with the task of navigating the maze-like corridors of the base and destroying Mother Brain, the pirate's leader. Samus earned herself an almost unrivaled cult following when it comes to female video game characters. Dictionary.com describes a hero as a person noted for feats of courage or nobility of purpose, especially one who has risked or sacrificed his or her life. If you live in Raccoon City, Claire Redfield is your hero. She fought her way out of the zombie-infested town in Resident Evil 2 and survived the horrors of Resident Evil codenamed Veronica. She's a motorcycle-riding, monster-bashing, red-headed video vixen, and all of that led you to vote this fox in at number 4.
Her name is Claire Redfield.
It's something about her. First off, she's really honest.
secondly, I like a girl that's attractive like that, and she can kick serious butt on the game. I mean, just the way how she gets in there, she gets the job done. I mean, she takes the guy down. Well, I could always take her. I could maneuver her the best out of all the characters. I felt like I knew her inside and out, you know, so I pretty much, I got in there, and I love the game. It's a great game to start off with, and, well, she's pretty much the best part of it. That's why I love it so much.
19-year-old Claire Redfield is a light-hearted and articulate modern woman and filled with tomboy tendencies. Despite her tendency to come across as icy and sarcastic, her sweethearted and endearing nature rise to the surface during her interaction with children and makes her worthy of the action figure erected in her honor. That, amongst many other reasons, is why our hearts are on fire for this red-headed hero. Now, this is the time in the show when we pull from the filter inbox and see what you have to say. So send us your emails, and if the filter gods approve of your comments, we'll air them. This email comes from a big-time gamer in Kentucky. I play a lot of video games. Mom says I should slow down, man. And my favorite are action games. And I think the greatest, best action hero in games definitely has to be Master Chief. My mom hates that game, but I tell her it's only the greatest game ever and she should try it. Ah, the inner turmoil of adolescence. I'm sorry that the home life is a little rough, kid. My advice, hold these commandments dearly. Number 1, respect thy parents. And number 2, play till thy thumbs bleed. Okay, great. Billy from Baltimore writes, Dear Filter people, I think the best action hero in video games is Lara Croft. She is hot and has 2 guns. She is like a John Woo movie and a late-night Cinemax movie all in one. I love it when she kills tigers and when she does flips, too, because it gives her wedgies. If you know how to see her naked, please tell me, Baltimore Billy. Wow. Okay, ease up, Turbo. It sounds like you could really use a cold shower. Okay. Okay, we're almost at the top. When we get back, we're going to reveal your rankings for the top 3 video game action heroes of all time. But before we go, see if you know the answer to our filter query of the week. Tomb Raider's Lara Croft has appeared on screen in concerts for what band? A, Aerosmith, B, Backstreet Boys, C, Moby, D, U2. The answer when we get back. Welcome back to Filter. Before the break, we asked you which band Tomb Raider's Lara Croft has appeared with on screen in concert. And the answer is D, U2. Before we get ready for the 3 best video game action heroes, let's take a look at our lineup so far. We started things in big fashion with little Abe at number 10. Thief's Garrett pulled the 5-finger discount and stole the 9 spot, while Lara Croft stole our hearts at 8. Duke Nukem blasted in at number 7, with Link, everybody's favorite flautist, tuning in at 6. And finally, we had the femme fatale double trouble combo of Samus Aran and Claire Redfield, represented at 5 and 4, respectively. Sure, they're all fearless heroes, but as they say, there can be only one. So let's press on. Max Payne fills most closely the role of modern-day hero as he carries a gun and a badge like many officers of the law. But he's also a man that takes vengeance very, very seriously. When his family is killed and he's framed for the murder of a DEA agent, he goes on a killing spree that would make Charles Manson blush. This renegade agent has got more moves than Chow Yun-fat and more guns than Charlton Heston. It's all about the pain, coming in at number 3.
The American dream come true.
Meet vigilante Max Payne. Max's wife was killed. Max's newborn baby was killed. Now Max wants to kill. And kill he will as he roams the streets of New York in search of the drugged-out thugs that did him wrong on the quest for ultimate vengeance.
Honey, anybody home? I didn't like the way the show started. They give me the best seat in the house, front row center.
All right, we're getting close. It's time to get it on with our number 2. Back to the Resident Evil franchise for our next hero, Jill Valentine. Zombie killer extraordinaire, Jill Valentine is both quick on her feet and a master of unlocking. Jill had what it took to fight her way out of a zombie-packed mansion in RE1 and stood toe-to-toe with a team of elite mercenaries in Resident Evil Nemesis. For gamers who missed the first few Resident Evil installments, fear not. A Resident Evil remake has arrived for the Nintendo GameCube. Let's see why Jill Valentine got so many of your votes.
She's a well-rounded character. She's very intense as well as the game.
A savvy yet sultry soldier that has bailed out many a star's brother and sister in the past, Jill Valentine made her video game debut for the PlayStation in Resident Evil. The 5'5", 23-year-old was assigned to Raccoon City to investigate reports from locals about missing people and the sightings of dog-like monsters. Jill is exactly the kind of chick you want on your side when it's time to kick zombie butt. All right, we've woven our way through the top 9 action heroes of all time. But before we sew things up, let's take a quick look at who's ahead when it comes to threads, according to the posts on the Filter message boards. First, Jabber Talkie wrote fondly of the super cool suit worn by Agent Solid Snake in Metal Gear Solid. Second, Too Money loves the outfit Lara Croft is wearing in the new Tomb Raider game. Third, Kyle Katarn used the Force to find a cool outfit in Jedi Knight, according to Ouijibo. Fourth, Lovebo thought Kate Archer was looking shagadelic and No One Lives Forever. And fifth and finally, Soulless One thinks nobody dresses for a blood feast like Kane from the Soul Reaver Blood Omen game. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, who won the one spot for being the one? Your highest rated action hero is Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid. The Navy SEALs, Delta Force, and Marines have nothing on Solid Snake, the ultimate Special Forces operative. This guy's always cool under fire, good with the ladies, and can take on towering mechs all by his lonesome. Snake is a survivor, and no matter what you throw at him, he always comes out on top. Well, this week you threw 9 of the gaming universe's all-time action heroes at him, but it still wasn't enough. Unwavering and unscathed, emerging from the thick, finger raised triumphantly, your friend and mine, Solid Snake, your solid pick at number 1. In the Metal Gear Solid series, you assume the role of Solid Snake, a legendary hero who spends most of his time saving the free world from the menacing Metal Gear. An infiltration expert who won't shy away from any mission, no matter how daunting, relying heavily on stealth and subterfuge, it's up to Snake to save the day, and save the day he will. That's all you wrote, gamers. Remember, there are still dozens of game-related categories to vote on. Don't forget, Filter doesn't work without you. So log on daily at g4tv.com/filter to cast your vote, suggest new lists for upcoming shows, or tell us your thoughts on the outcome of today's show. For Filter, I'm Diane Mazzota, and I'll see you next time.
One of the most frustrating things, I think, about the gaming industry is that systems like the PS2 or the Game Box or the Xbox, GameCube, Xbox, I mean, is that they're just too expensive. The average guy like me working $675, can't afford a system like that. And I don't know, if they just bring the prices down a little bit, I think that I could afford it, and I'd play a lot more games then, I think.
The lunatics have taken over the asylum. Tonight's top 10 games were chosen by none other than the Filter staff. Are you as scared as I am right now? You should be. Filter, the top 10 countdown show with the blah, blah, blah. I'm Diane Mazzota, and tonight we're powering down the mighty Filterator and letting your courteous and well-groomed Filter staff pick their favorite video games. As Robert's Rules of Order dictates, in situations like this, we'll work in descending size order. So, here to kick off our countdown is our 6'4" circus freak of a tech reporter, John Walsh.
Because of my advanced age, my favorite video game is an arcade title from like 1983. It's the Dragon's Lair arcade game. It was actually the first animated Laserdisc adventure video game, and it was so cool. It was animated by Don Bluth, who had just come from the Disney studios to develop his own like animation project. It was 6 years in the making. The animation was just like this staggering process, and it cost over $1 million, which at the time was extraordinary. And to keep costs down, the animators voiced all the characters themselves.
Slay the dragon. Use the magic sword.
He didn't so much control your character, Dirk the Daring, as you nudged him in a direction. He would come to a fork in a road or something, or this cavern, and you'd like have a choice of going either left or right. At the time, Dragon's Lair was just revolutionary. I mean, it really was. It was like a movie experience. It was like a choose-your-own-adventure movie. You could really control the experience.
The game I picked, because I played it a hell of a lot, was Rock and Roll Racing. Rock and Roll Racing was just kind of a reiteration of RC Pro-Am if you played that on Super Nintendo. Unbelievable game, but it didn't really have the Twisted Metal style thing that Rock and Roll Racing did. You could shoot weapons, you could shoot missiles, you could shoot lasers, you could drop oil slicks, you could drop mines, you could buy new cards, you could customize, you could do a whole bunch of things with this game that you never could in any other racing game. They actually had a soundtrack that you could listen to outside of the game. So people actually bought the soundtrack, which is MIDI. Honestly, it made the game worth playing over and over because you could hear it over and over and you didn't get tired of the soundtrack. So, and that's what made it Rock and Roll Racing.
The game I chose was Marathon for the Macintosh. Marathon was cool. It had a lot of the weapons and stuff that you have in like modern day first-person shooters, but it was like back in the mid to early 90s. So I mean, it was kind of like the predecessor to everything that the kiddies spend all day on Xbox Live playing today. Halo is an homage to Marathon in a lot of ways. It had like the same machine gun, it had the same rocket launcher, and it had like a lot of the deathmatch options that like people have in Halo today. They had the kill the guy with the skull game. All that stuff was in there. And people like me who had no girlfriend or no friends to speak of really spent a lot of time playing the game, making maps for it, had a huge mod community. And they gave you all these development tools with it so that, again, said losers could spend a lot of time sort of making their own levels and playing them over and over and over again in their parents' house.
Welcome back to Filter's countdown of the staffers' favorite games. What with all their daily chores like tending the livestock and refueling our badly outdated coal-burning filterator, you wouldn't think our show team would have much time for such idle frippery as video games. But that's where you'd be wrong, as production coordinator Stephen Pleadwell proves with his pick, the rock and rhythmic classic Parappa the Rapper. Go, Pleadwell! It's your birthday.
My game of choice is kind of a guilty pleasure for a lot of people. I don't know if I'm going to get assassinated for this one, but it's Parappa the Rapper. It's like the catchiest tunes in it, I mean, it's like they took Simon Says, which you would never think possible to make into a video game, but they did it with like a rap hip-hop twist. It's so addictive. Like once you start it, you just get hooked. And like I couldn't go anywhere without like singing along to the songs, like.
Follow my words because we're almost done. I make it easier first. I wanna see if you wanna see what it means to be the man with a master plan. Are you the man now?
You got the kung fu onion-headed Mr. Miyagi on Speed Chef, and you've got like the Nazi moose funky chick driver instructor lady, and
When I say boom, boom, boom.
you say bam, bam, bam. It's just funny as hell. Parappa the Rapper, kill me.
I think my favorite title right now is, I'm a big fan of the Ratchet & Clank series. Up Your Arsenal is a really good one. What do you think, little buddy?
Yeah, sounds good.
Up Your Arsenal. Kind of a weird story there, it's some sort of fox cat thing and a robot that are really too close, really too close. Just a fun game, it's a quick fix game. You can pick it up, just destroy shit and go to sleep. It's kind of fun. Do you think it's fun? I think it's great.
Four PC games that came out between 1990 and 2000, and it was kind of like the same kind of gameplay as Maniac Mansion, and you kind of have a list of commands and you kind of click on objects on the screen and interact that way. They are just really, really funny, as Matt Kirsch would say.
Hilarious.
Instead of fighting other pirates, you duel by throwing insults at each other. It's really comedy gold.
That pig-shaped bush frightens and confuses me.
It's kind of like The Simpsons in a way that there are a lot of kind of in-jokes and pop culture references and that sort of thing. I mean, I would say the games are really funnier than most movies or TV that I see, really. And there are pirate jokes aplenty.
Hi, my name's Aaron Borjas. I'm the intern here at Filter. My favorite game would have to be, I'd say Mike Tyson's Punch-Out from the very old first Nintendo. I'd say the reason why, I used to love like boxing back in the day because my dad was really into it, and just the way it was like set up, it was very easy to get into. Was just the left and right. You can always very easy to like control as far as like the high and low punches. Yeah, so honestly, if it had my vote, Mike Tyson would have to be the very best game for Nintendo system.
You hate to admit it, but this countdown of Filter staff picks is oddly compelling. Well, baby, you ain't seen nothing yet. Get a load of associate producer Kevin Lau explaining his compulsion to battle mythical beasts. I bet it has something to do with the toga.
My favorite game is Shadow of the Colossus. I really, really love that game a lot. There probably isn't a game out there that actually touches you emotionally like Shadow of the Colossus. You can kind of define it with one word. It's kind of really just about sacrifice. This guy, who's this hero, he just sacrifices himself and does whatever he needs for this woman. and there's just so much meaning behind it. Visually it's great, but still just a very simplistic puzzle game that was really intriguing as you move further along the puzzles you're embarking, which is the huge Colossus. And the best part is when you actually, after you kill the Colossus, you're not supposed to feel a sort of triumph. You're actually supposed to feel pain because you've slayed this beast that has done nothing to you. Unfortunately, you don't get laid, and it just demonstrates that you're a loser at home that plays games.
My favorite game is Total Annihilation by Cave Dog, first true 3D real-time strategy game. You had tanks, you had jets, and you had mechs, like walking, robotic humanoids, which was the first sort of RTS that had that, and I thought that was really awesome. Probably the most unique thing that no other RTS has ever recreated was the idea of a commander, in which it was a walking fortress in a sense. It could build units, and it had this plasma cannon that was just devastating. It collected metal and energy, and you used your energy to just project this plasma cannon that could blow up a tank in one hit, basically.
Hey, little buddy. Hey, little buddy. What you gaming on, man? PCP, man! PCP? PCP, man! I'm gaming on my PCP, man!
Several answers come to mind, but the most obvious.
Wait! My PCP! PCP?
I am gaming on my PSP, portable gaming system.
What's the gaming?
What?
My PCP, man!
Big simple.
What you gaming on? A question for the ages. Right up there with who let the dogs out? We never did determine that, did we? Well, this is no time for regrets. Here's how the Filter's Staff Picks Countdown has gone down so far.
Hi, I'm John Walsh, and the game I chose is the arcade version of Dragon's Lair. That's a game you played with real quarters, not that e-cash you kids love so much.
What's up? I'm Bruce Green, and I chose Rock and Roll Racing. It's the only game with the announcer that says, Olaf unleashes hot fury!
My name's Mike Mitchell, and I chose Marathon, the predecessor to Halo. So, in your face.
Yo, this is Steve Pleadwell, and my choice is everyone's guilty pleasure, Parappa the Rappa, one of the pioneers of rhythm gaming.
Hey, it's Matt Kirsch. Ratchet and Clank. Hilarious.
Hi, I'm John Mason, and I picked the Monkey's Island series. Pirates? Monkeys? If only it had Estelle Getty, John Walsh would have picked it.
Hey, I'm Kevin Lau, and my pick is Shadow of the Colossus. No, that pink shirt is not gay.
This is Sean Carr. I chose Total Annihilation, the hardcore drug for the RTS addict.
Fire Pro Wrestling Six-Man Scramble? Sounds like a breakfast dish in a sexually ambidextrous pancake house, but I digress. You wonder how that will stack up against a classic arcade coin-op like Galaga. The question you should really be asking is, how does our PA stack up against the series producer? May the shortest man win our Filter face-off.
The game I chose was Fire Pro Wrestling Six-Man Scramble for the Sega Saturn. So what's so great about Fire Pro Wrestling is that it was one of the first wrestling games to make it so you can actually have a create a wrestler. So any wrestler that you wanted in any federation, you can duplicate in this game. And you can give them their costumes, their moves. What's also great about this game is it had a humongous moveset. So any move that you practically could see in the wrestling ring, you would see in this game. Since it was called Six-Man Scramble, you could have 6 people play at the same time. That was pretty great because you got to multi-tap together, get 6 of your buddies to come out, 6-man scramble, fun, wrestling. Does that sound gay?
The game that I chose is Galaga. And the reason I chose Galaga is because first you had Space Invaders, and Galaga was the upgrade. I spent at least, $100, $200 of my parents' money on that game weekly. Put my quarters up, waiting in line. Now, the cool thing about Galaga and games like Galaga was because back in the day, it wasn't about, oh, I got to finish the story, blah, blah, blah. It was about scoring points, all right? And that's what Galaga was about, scoring points. When the last guy up at the very top comes down, he swoops down, he puts down his ray, and let him pick you up. Let him pick you up, okay? Then you're going to come back around, then you get another guy, and he's going to come back around, you're going to shoot him, and then you're going to have 2 fighters now, okay? So you have double the firepower. That's the trick. Nobody really knew that back in the day, and that's how I scored all the points. And the best part was that I was able to put my initials in the ARJ. Done.
It all comes down to a game of inches. Size really isn't that important. That's all, folks. The Filter staffers have had their say, and now we can release them into the wild with radio tracking devices implanted in their buttocks. Now, while that horrible image sinks in, just remember that Filter always has and always will put you, the viewer, first. That way we can blame you when you don't like something. Now, stay in school, don't smoke crack, and have a kind word for a stranger. Mazzotta out! Welcome back to Filter. I'm Diane Mazzotta, and we're counting down the scariest games ever. It's down to the last 3 spots. But before we move on, let's get a quick recap of the games we've shown so far. Alone in the Dark kicked off the action-adventure craze, and it kicks off our countdown at 10. House of the Dead takes up residence in the number 9 spot. Aliens vs. Predator 2 rips humanity a new one at number 7. Burning Fires of Hell rage for Dante as Devil May Cry engulfs the 7th spot. Clive Barker's Undying lives at number 6. Doom's Your Daddy, it's number 5. And game number 4 leaves us in eternal darkness. Well, not. Still 3 games left to shed light on, so let's keep moving. The game at number 3 is all about capturing spirits. In Fatal Frame, you play as a young Japanese girl named Miku, who's ventured into a mysterious, you guessed it, mansion in search of her missing brother. What makes this game slightly off-center from your average spooker is that your weapon of choice is a camera. Capturing a ghost in your sights and grabbing a snapshot will kill it. Take a look inside our lens and see for yourself.
They use a great combination of a new take on the Resident Evil style kind of gameplay, but then they have great little details. When I was playing the game and I was in a completely silent area, I kept hearing this weird humming noise.
You hear something, humming noise, something in the background. If you turn the volume up, there's actually a lot of background actually talking, so that's kind of spooky.
It was very, very dark, very disturbing, and it was a very classic ghost story. And I haven't seen a video game do a ghost story without guns, and this one did it, and it did it effectively.
Kind of gives new meaning to the phrase, capture the spirit. And in the spirit of this episode, it's time to dig a little deeper and find out what you guys thought was the scariest moment ever in a video game. Here's what you had to say.
There was moments when I was playing Nocturne, and there were some moments in that game that just were terrifying. A combination of lights, sounds, music, shadow, and the element of surprise of these zombies just jumping out on you, and it was pretty wicked.
I think it's a shared moment. I think the first time anyone saw the dogs in Resident Evil for the first time, a lot of people filled their pants right there.
You walk through this hallway, you know, you've walked through it before and nothing had happened, and there's these big windows and suddenly crash.
Dog comes lunging through the glass.
I'm going around a corner and I know any second now these dogs are going to jump out of a window, and every time I still jump 2 feet in the air.
I think it's the fact that everything's quiet and then bam.
Definitely the dogs jumping out of the window.
It makes sense that the dogs tweaked you out the most because they're in one of the games that freaked you out the most. When it came to the scariest games ever, the Silent Hill and Resident Evil franchises topped your list. While both games shred your nerves, they do it in different ways. The first messes with your head, while the second messes with your heart. In the Silent Hill series, you roam the pitch-black streets of an abandoned town solving puzzles while trying to stay alive. You'll face winged demons, skinless dogs, and a host of psychopaths. But it's your brain that takes a beating in Silent Hill. The game's creators actually designed it to frighten people on an instinctive level. In the Resident Evil series, it's not so much instincts as it is reflexes. The big scare tactic in these games is the boo factor, with zombies and dogs pouncing on you from out of nowhere. Sure, the scares may be cheap, but the memories are priceless. Everyone remembers the first time they played Resident Evil. It's time to turn down the lights and see who's packing more fright. Silent Hill goes up against Resident Evil in yet another filter face-off.
The scariest game that I've played, Resident Evil, by far.
It's shockingly scary, to the point where I'm a grown man and I can't play it alone.
I saw a guy crouching down on the ground, walked up to him, turned around, a zombie with blood all over his mouth.
It's almost like you're dropped into the middle of a horror movie.
And just with the lightning and the sound and ambient sound effects, she was like, oh, hey. I mean, it really sets a tone.
To be a zombie standing there like in the dark, but they don't really move towards you until you get somewhat close to them. And then like I'll get closer to where this zombie is and he starts moving and it freaks you out because it's like nothing's supposed to move at you.
It's like everything's cool and then boom, all of a sudden you're toast.
I like Silent Hill 2 to be a little scarier for the simple reason that I think that they got the fog effects to be a lot creepier. Now let's be reasonable, fog's scary.
It was just realistic, you know, you got that creepy little girl running around the town, you got the environment, you know, it's a small city, but there's no one there, and you know something just ain't right, and it sits in the back of your head, and they play on that with the music and the settings and the way the game progresses.
The game is basically designed to scare the pants off you.
What the hell is it? I know most people think about being scared as that moment when something jumps out at you. That's sort of the shock part. But for me, the scariest moment in the game is the opening sequence in Silent Hill 2. Nothing jumps out, the camera's moving really slow, there's just this grungy old bathroom and this creepy music, and you just know something bad's gonna happen.
So, is it Silent Hill or Resident Evil? Both have reason enough to be the #1 choice. However, the polls are closed, your votes were counted, and the series you chose as being the scariest is...
Resident Evil.
It's the evil that chills. Well, that wraps up this episode of Filter. Remember, the opinions expressed on this show are yours, not mine. So make your vote count on future episodes by logging onto the Filter show page at g4tv.com/filter. Until then, I'm Diane Mazzota, and I'll see you next time.